You just shot yourself in the foot.
I gotta go with my man Beetlejuice, baby. Oh, shit!
But I have to go with When Harry Met Sally. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I never met nobody like you.
I love it.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Pennywise instead. I'm gonna go with Pennywise.
Which one? Which one?
Yo, what is going on, you beautiful people out there, and welcome back to another Suit Up Geeks draft. Oh my god, I swear to god, every time we come back to do this is like, we do this once a month, and it comes by so fast. It's such an exciting time, and you know what, I feel like the past two drafts have been like super stressful for a lot of people. We've been adding the spinner into our drafts to add a little bit of intensity. Gabe has his opinions on it just because he's a little bit of a crybaby, but that's why we don't listen to him on this show, guys. That's why he does not run it. He cries. So, without that being settled, we did bring back the wheel, Gabe. So, let's give a round of applause for that. But, guys, the wheel for what, though? Because she usually likes to, we call her Lady Death because she likes to screw some people over. But she ain't screwing anyone over this time because we got some of the best moments in the MCU draft coming right your way right now. And honestly, we're just celebrating in this house. So let's just pull out the wheel. Let's see what we're dealing with, you beautiful people. We got all phases 1 through 4, and then we've got a special category for MCU TV shows. And spoiler alert, you can't choose any broad answers. Like, you can't just say the Wakanda fight itself and just kind of snatch it up like that. These movies are much more than just fights as a whole. And you know what? Fuck it. Let's just get right into it because we started a little bit late. But right before we bring out the wheel again to spin, Gabriel, how are we doing? And are you ready to spin this thing with me?
I guess. I don't like the gimmick, but sure.
Why don't you like the gimmick?
I just don't like it, you know.
Why not? Don't you like when it spins like that? Oh my god, we're doing phase 4 right out of the gate.
Oh, I know.
Oh no, Gabe, I'm so sorry.
It's just phase 4 is the worst one.
Oh, we're already starting with the hot takes too. So Gabe, you have to choose a moment from phase 4.
Okay.
As your first pick, my friend.
All right, so I'm going to pick the moment when all three Spider-Man decide to work together, and then they all swing, and then they just land on the head of the Statue of Liberty.
Fuck you, Gabe. Just fuck you. You knew exactly what you're doing. Gabe, this is why we hate you on the show. This is why you're never invited past the drafts. I just want to say that right now. Like, okay.
Only for the post-game show?
No, literally only the post-game show.
They're not as fun without me, admit it.
I
just continue with the draft.
No, it's not fun. I'm sorry. It's not very fun. But we got a newcomer up in here, and his name is Brandon King. And I hope you're on your king shit today, Brandon, because what's going on for a first timer?
I think I'm in the wrong meeting, but it's too late to back out now.
How you feeling though? How you feeling? You feeling a little tingly on the tip of your nips? Because I get that sometimes.
You know what? Now that you mention it. But yes, actually quite. Really excited to be here, really nervous for everything. And yeah, please don't hurt me.
What is your first pick for phase 4 MCU moment?
So I had a couple of these, and this is just getting this right out of the way that I've done other movie and TV drafts, and I'm basically terrible about this because I basically just go with my choices, whether or not people like them or not. That being said, I think this one will actually get a little bit of populism behind it, even if the movie itself is not that big of a fan favorite. The music fight from Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. You know what? It's a good moment.
I think it's incredible. I think Danny Elfman's score absolutely rules. I think it's one of the most visually interesting pieces of that whole movie. Obviously, character-wise, it works for both of the Stephen Stranges, but I think just purely on the basis of in a movie that tries to do so much, I think that's one of the few instances where I was like, oh, that's something cool and really interesting. And, you know, it gets me that F yeah kind of feeling. So I absolutely love it. I've gone back to it at least a dozen times since it's come out.
Honestly, that's a fucking awesome scene, and it's such a fun time. It's so comic booky. You just like kind of fall in love with it. It's so fun, and I love it so much. And shit, it's my pick. But because Gabe fucked me over with my first pick somehow in an MCU moments draft in all of Phase 4, like, how is that possible that he takes my one pick only because he knows what my favorite film of all time is? Spoiler alert. I'm gonna go. Gabe, can you stop? Gabe,
sorry.
Gabe, can you stop? You're interrupting me. You're hurting my feelings. I thought we were supposed to be friends, Gabe. But you know what? There is another good moment. Not good moment, a fucking amazing moment in Spider-Man No Way Home. And I don't really know how to really call this scene, but it's the scene where the two Spider-Men come to aid Peter Parker after Aunt May dies. And they all come to the conclusion of what the true meaning of power comes with responsibility. I guess
with great power comes great responsibility.
Scene.
There you
go.
Dude, man, that was gonna be my pick, dude.
Yeah,
you took that from me.
Blame Gabe for that. You can just blame Gabe for that.
I blame him too.
Gabe the Ruiner. That's what we call it. He's gonna be the Avengers 7 villain. Gabe the Ruiner. Spoiler alert. Loretto, how you feeling? Your armpits feeling a little toasty in hot ass California right now? You're muted, my friend.
It is quite toasty, and I would rather prefer to Gabe a saboteur. That would be the more appropriate term for his ruiny. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this threw me for a loop. I'm not really prepped to do Phase 4 stuff, but I think just off the top of my head, I know No Way Home is gonna be popular with moments. It's chock full of moments that are just awesome and fantastic. But I think this one's pretty popular, and I think this one's near and dear to my heart, especially because, in my opinion, he was kind of the heart and soul of this whole thing once he came. I'm going to take when Andrew Garfield redeems himself and saves MJ from falling. Nice. I think that moment got a lot of people's heartstrings. It's a stand up and cheer moment. And for Andrew Garfield especially, freaking awesome moment for him. He rocks.
Oh, Spider-Man's really just sweeping Phase 4 right now. But I did have a backup if Spider-Man didn't come into play. I'll bring it up after this because it's probably one of the best scenes in Phase 4. But Matt Wyatt, how are you feeling, my man?
Dude, it's been like 4 months since I last been on the Suit Up Geeks, because the last time I've been in was the greatest movies, and I'm just very happy to be back on it. And then talking about the best MCU moments, which I did not expect this is going to be the next draft. So if I were to pick, because Spider-Man No Way Home is the popular one, so if I were to pick, it would be hold on, let me just see. Wait, who did this? Oh no, wait, hold on. It's the moment when Andrew and Toby first came into the scene the first time through the portal, and everybody was cheering like crazy, and it was just a big relief that this actually is real, and I was just putting a joyous smile on my face, just seeing Andrew coming out of the portal and then Toby coming out. That was like my favorite moment of the film.
Oh, yeah, you hit it
so
right.
Ned, I would say when Ned brings in the other Peter Parkers.
Yes, yeah. It just felt like a dream that I never thought it would actually become a reality.
The turn that shocked the world.
Yeah, quite literally.
I mean, even if you knew that this was going to come,
it was still shocking.
But it just felt like, oh my God, there's always a fear that what if they don't show up?
Yeah, right. Especially with No Way Home had so many leaks, but oh geez, okay, we can't get off track. We've got an assignment here, people. Damn it, you guys know how easy it is to get me into conversations, but we've got a newcomer here. Tommy, what is going on?
Hey, you guys, thanks for having me. I'm glad to make my debut with MCU stuff, so thank you.
Thanks for coming on, Tommy. What moment from Phase 4 would you think is one of the best?
So I'm gonna break from you guys Spider-Man addiction a little bit. Gonna go with WandaVision, Wanda becoming the Scarlet Witch.
Nice.
I think that for me was phenomenal, iconic.
Nice. Oh, yeah, there's so much. WandaVision, it's got so many great scenes in it.
Yep.
But we've got returning member here, Marky Mark.
Hey, right. Hold on, pause. Our order is getting super screwed up.
Oh, I thought you put it back in. Sorry.
We also have a late edition. I'm trying to fix it, but it's like it's going rapid fire right now. So hold on one second. I think Dempsey was actually after Matt.
Was Dempsey after Matt? Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. We'll just Dempsey, you can go this time since it got all turned out of order. And then
you guys good.
And then we'll come back around to you, Toriano, once Mark finishes. And then we'll get your first pick.
So all right. So I just want to say that I thought I was on like the best MCU moments draft, not the best moment in Spider-Man draft, because that's what I felt like.
Get
and
him.
That's fair.
honestly, no, I'm Tommy beat me to it, but I was also going to choose WandaVision, but I was going to choose Agatha all along because I think that is an incredible sequence. If I'm not mistaken, isn't it nominated for an award? Didn't it win an award?
Yeah,
we got nominated.
Like, how could you forget? So iconic that people started singing it after the fact. So I mean, and
I have
I
on
mean,
my playlist.
yeah, Catherine Hahn's great.
Yeah.
And I think she made that character, and she made it so great that in fact she's getting her own spinoff. So that's my pick for Phase 4.
Wow. I really love the WandaVision love right now. And okay, now it kind of feels like we're going back in time. Thank you so much, Dempsey, for picking. You fucking amazing first time member. Love you so much. Beautiful, gorgeous face. I mean, just here for everyone should just be here for compliments other than Gabe. I just berate Gabe.
Brian,
Fuck
are you
Gabe.
okay?
No, I'm not okay because you're here. But I am much better now because my man, Marky Mark from Infinity Bros, who I definitely know it's your turn now, bro. It's definitely your turn.
Okay.
How are you feeling now with this pick?
I'm just happy no one picked what I wanted to pick with all the confusion. I don't know if this falls into being too broad, but I can refine it if it needs to be. But I'm going from the Multiverse of Madness, and I'm going with Wanda, Scarlet Witch, killing all of the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Fair.
That just showing her broad, huge strength that she can just, without any real, excerpt of pop, of.
It was such a funny scene.
Crazy to see Dr. Reed Richards getting turned into spaghetti. So, there it is.
Just turned into string cheese. And he's like, oh my God. And Wanda's just like, they don't have a father anymore. And you're just like, oh shit, really? I'm just like, okay, I knew you guys wanted to be dark, but fuck. I didn't realize you guys wanted
Dude, Mr. Fantastic should not have told that Black Bulk what his abilities can do. What mess?
Smartest man alive.
When they introduced Black Bolt again, I'm just like, oh man, they're actually giving him a chance. Next thing you know, he's dead. I'm like, oh, they blew his brain up. Okay, I'd rather be turned into string cheese, to be honest, than have my brain go to smithereens.
Hey, real quick, I think Toriano's on deck, and then let's just see what's the comments are popping off. Let's get a couple of those on the board. Caitlin said she's loving the Scarlet Witch transformation. Thanks for joining us, Caitlin. Ryan O'Toole in the house. What's up, Ryan? He says there's so many amazing moments. I agree. We are just getting started. And if anyone's just joining us, welcome to the greatest MCU moments draft.
And then, so we did Tommy because all the order got fucked up. So we're going to go to Max and then we're going to go to Toriano to finish this up. But so, Max, since you're final on the snake list right now, you get to pick a Phase 4 film. But after Toriano chooses his Phase 4 film, we're going to go right back to you and then spin the wheel and then go back down in order so we get back on track. Okay?
Yeah.
So choose your Phase 4 film, my man.
So, I mean, some people have talked about WandaVision, so I can probably, choose a show as well, right? From Phase 4?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think the best Phase 4 moment is easily in Moon Knight. Layla El Faouli becoming the Scarlet Scarab.
Yeah.
Coming out of that tomb and those wings. Oh my God.
So great.
That's it. After that, like the MCU Phase 4 peaked right there.
Oof. We'll get to that in a minute, my friend. We'll get to that in a minute. But right before we go back and kick off round 2, what is going on, Toriano? How you feeling about this pick? And I know you don't know what the pick is, but it's Phase. You have to pick a movie from a moment from Phase 4. That's what your
Phase
first
4.
pick is. Yeah.
Okay.
How you feeling, Toriano? Though, sorry to cut you off before.
No, you're good, man. You're good, man. I'm feeling good. I wasn't really sure which all moments you guys picked, but I'm feeling confident that nobody has picked this one. It's probably one of the underrated ones that you guys haven't thought of. But my moment will probably be when Shang-Chi got his 10 rings.
Hell yeah.
Shang-Chi's
got so many amazing moments. Shang-Chi, that was such a powerful moment too, just watching each one just go into his arm. And it's kind of like a slow character progression. And as you're watching the fight go on, such beautifully done. Fucking love that movie.
Oh,
So
he's Goku.
now
He was Goku from that moment. Like, come on,
From
let's
that
all
moment
call
on.
it. He was Goku.
Hey, he could be Goku, but he's Goku in the MCU, so it's cool.
Exactly.
As fuck.
He's the
Exactly.
badass Avenger
Exactly.
in the MCU.
He's the badass Avenger. But so we finished off round 1. We're going into round 2. Back to Max. Let's bring out Baby Wheel right here. Oh man, doesn't she look gorgeous? I mean, Gabe, don't you just want to like hold her hair and just give her a big kiss because you love her so much?
No.
Oh, a phase 2 moment. I'm sorry, Gabe. I know you don't know what phase 2 is, but it's totally fine. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Because
like
you're
phase 2.
last. You do?
Yeah.
That's shocking. I didn't know you liked anything. But Max, how you feeling about phase 2?
I don't much care about phase 2. I think it's one of the weaker phases of the MCU. That's just my opinion. But yeah.
So why
Um
don't you give us a pick in phase 2?
okay. This I think will be a very controversial pick, but one of my favorite moments from phase 2. Actually, no, this is probably my favorite moment from phase 2, and it's when it is revealed that the Mandarin is actually not the Mandarin in Iron Man 3.
Stirring the pot.
That's a great pick. I had that on my list, man.
That was
It is-
brilliant.
It's such a great cultural relevance nowadays, especially after Shang-Chi. I
Yeah.
think they really just tied it up in Shang-Chi. I love it so much. Honestly, I really support that pick, Max. I fucking love it. I didn't think you were gonna go wild like that. But Tommy, how you feeling about moments in phase 2 right now?
Very confident, actually. It's my favorite movie. It's gonna be Steve Rogers fighting Winter Soldier, the knife fight in Winter Soldier. So
Yes.
I had never seen fight scenes so beautiful than that. So here we go.
Dude, I'm absolutely I mean, I think that was really the movie that really helped push the MCU
Yep.
even further into mainstream after the Avengers. I think a lot of people consider The Winter Soldier as a milestone film in the MCU filmography, and that's one of the reasons why. One of the fucking fantastic fight sequence within the movie. But we're going on to Marky Mark. How you feeling right now with this pick in phase 2? Mark, you're muted, my man.
Very unprofessional of me. I'm sorry. I'm very ready for this pick. I'm actually surprised it wasn't picked already, but I think I'm going to Age of Ultron, and it kind of set that whole movie set up a lot of stuff that happens in Endgame. And I'm going with Captain America, Steve Rogers, barely moving Mjolnir, and like shocking Thor, like just foreshadowing to what to happen in the next phase. So
I think we can all agree that's the greatest tease of all time in the MCU. Other than I'm sure some other moments we'll get into later. But Dempsey, how are you feeling, my man? I know you're getting a little loosey goosey now, and I'm really hoping you bring it in strong with this phase 2 pick. I feel it, man.
I have 2 that I know are going to blow people away, but I'm going to go with the one that is the least expected, and it's probably from one of my favorite MCU movies, top 3 really. Guardians of the Galaxy. One of the most emotional moments in the film is when it looks like the Guardians are going to die, and Groot wraps himself around everybody and says, "We are Groot." It is literally the only time to date that he has said anything other than "I am Groot." And yes, he died temporarily, but it set the stage for his other more fun transformations that we've seen since. That is my pick. We are Groot.
God damn it. Fuck. Okay, you know what?
Yo,
It's
Dempsey,
fine.
we approve. I don't know if you can see my little baby Groot on my shoulder, but
I love
excellent
it. I love
pick.
it.
But technically, the baby Groot. This is a different Groot. The other Groot was the different Groot that sacrificed
Yeah, no,
himself.
I think it's like technically like his son, kind of.
Yeah, it's like
it's
a
fun.
rebirth. It's a gray area. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Gray area.
It's whatever you want it to be, Loretto. Stop. God, it's just an MCU universe. Jeez. But
MCU universe.
God, Gabe, can
Let your
you
imagination run wild.
Matt, can you just interrupt Gabe for me because he's kind of intolerable right now. I can't right now. Can you please give me your phase 2 picks because I think you're gonna blow Peter Soul out of the water.
Well, I definitely will. Yeah, the best moment for me in phase 2 was in the scene of the Captain America and the Winter Soldier when Steve Rogers and Nick Fury had a discussion about how they want to protect the world. And Steve Rogers, like, if holding the gun on Earth, you're calling it protection. This isn't freedom. This is fear. That part got me the most. That's my favorite moment of Phase 2.
Damn, it's so hard to be mad at anyone's picks because everyone just chooses great moments for all the right reasons. I mean, Max is a perfect example of that with his Iron Man 3 reveal of the fucking Mandarin. I love it so much. But Loretto, I know you're a little busy over there. Come on, relax a little bit. Let me massage your back, untighten the muscles, and give me your next pick for Phase 2, my man. I'm here for your support. I'm here to help you work through these emotions because I know there's so many great picks right here. I'm your emotional therapist.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm low key struggling right now. I'm not ready for this.
How
I'm
low
trying to
key?
think about Phase 2 right now.
Oh wow, I know you're in a stump. Come on, let me just massage your brain. Let me make some wave noises.
Massage the muscles.
Do you prefer a boy noise?
No, because I'm just gonna go for a spot in the Winter Soldier because it's
don't you
arguably
dare,
the most popular and most favorited film in that phase. Universally, Twitter loves that movie, and I feel like a lot of people think it's their favorite MCU film. I gotta go with Nick Fury's chase through the city and his final stand and his like armored shield car with the minigun. That's probably one of the most intense action sequences in the MCU, and Sam Jackson, plays it brilliantly. Of course, he's a legend, and it's one of my favorite moments. It's pretty awesome.
Damn, Loretto, I love you dearly, but wow, I think you just missed the opportunity at the best scene other than when it doesn't come to action in the Winter Soldier, and I think that's the "I'm with you to the end of the line" at the very end of the Winter Soldier. It just beautifully wraps up the entire movie of having Bucky beat the shit out of him. The entire ship explodes, and then they both just fall into the lake. And then the Winter Soldier pulls him out. I mean, boom. That's the moment that I think helped solidify this movie and just being like, yep, not only is Bucky and Cap's relationship a really big thing in this MCU universe at the time and going forward, obviously, but it just helped wrap up the movie beautifully and just really showed that friendship. And I think this was at a time where like people put love and those type of relationships in the forefront, but this one was more about being best friends and what it's like to be there for one another, that brotherly bond. And at the time, it was something really unique to see in the MCU, and I really think they did an amazing job with it. So that's my pick for Phase 2. But holy shit, we are going down the line here. Toriano, what is your Phase 2 pick, my man?
I'm very surprised that nobody has said this, and I am so excited to say it for myself. I'm going to pick the moment where Wanda realized that her brother was gone, and they have that final battle in Age of Ultron. I think that moment right there where she showed her emotion, I think it culminates and it kind of pushes WandaVision to the forefront as well. And it really shows her emotion. So I think that moment right there for me, and they have that final battle, that's my moment right there.
No, yeah, I think that was the first like true scene in the MCU to show Wanda's true power when she's under that emotional distress that she becomes super notorious for down the line, as we saw like up until Multiverse of Madness. So I think that's a great pick, Toriano. But Brandon King, are you on your king shit even more with this second pick?
You keep putting me up to these expectations of my name.
I put everyone to every expectation except Gabe. I put him at the lowest.
And I appreciate the support, even though I don't appreciate myself. That being said, Phase 2. I did not think there was going to be that much Iron Man 3 love. And also, Tommy, why? Why did you take my pick? How did you know? That being said, it gives me the opportunity to be the cheerleader for Iron Man 3 because my pick is actually the Air Force Rescue.
Yes! Hell yeah.
And it's funny. It's a scene that I've only, at the time, I thought it was cool. I've only appreciated it more, even if Iron Man 3 to me still is a little bit of a mess. It's one of the few scenes in that movie that I think is just consistently awesome. Like, again, I just think Shane Black paces it so great. I love, again, the kind of nostalgia-wise comic attitude of like the superheroes saving the civilians, but doing it in this really cool way, bringing it to the medium of film. The score from Brian Tyler is fantastic. The way Tony actually invents new ways to just do this thing in just the midst of the moment, I think is just a great moment in a movie that I think really personifies Tony's journey in that moment.
Yeah, it's amazing how Iron Man 3 has so many just great individual moments in its own film, because it's probably one of the most, I would say, divisive films in the MCU, just between it's either you just like it or it's whatever. I don't think anyone truly hates it other than the Mandarin twist. I think the whole film gets a lot of slack for, which I don't fully understand. But oh man, we're going on to the hardest pick of the day. Gabe. You already know the routine. You choose phase 2. You get your pick there. You don't choose anything other than that. And then we go back to Lady Wheel, your favorite. You give her a nice big kiss on the lips, and then she treats you by giving you a new category for your next pick. Are you good with that?
I'm very good with that.
All right.
Okay,
away,
so I gotta pick something that I don't know, feel very that I only remember it as good as I do, but it's a scene in Guardians of the Galaxy where it's Peter Quill and Gamora, and he plays the song for her. Like he puts his headphones on her, and the song is "I Fooled Around and Fell in Love." And it's just like this little moment where, you know, she's like somebody that's grown up like with violence and like so much hate. She grew up really, really hard, and then she has this moment of beauty, and then they have like a character moment. They almost kiss, and then it closes out with a great the line "pelvic sorcery," which I think is just really, really good. So you can describe the scene in the tweet as pelvic sorcery or "fooled around and fell in love," whatever. But I think that's a great little moment that just sets up the relationship for the rest of, you know, the film, and then the next 3-4 movies, whatever.
Gabe, ring, ring, ring. Someone's calling. It's your hot date called the spin wheel. So we're removing phase 2. We got phase 1, phase 3 in the MCU shows left. So Gabe, kiss it. Give it some good luck. Come on.
Oh, I hope I don't get the TV shows.
Gabe, you just gotta stop.
There, stay there. No. Gabe, for fuck's sake.
I'm sorry. It's because you didn't give her a kiss. You didn't give her a kiss. She wanted a kiss.
For fuck's sake, these fucking TV shows.
I know you love them so much, but go ahead. Pick a moment from one of these TV shows.
I guess I'm gonna pick the hallway scene in Daredevil, the fight scene in season 1. Can I pick that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's your final pick. Sorry,
I know. I'm sorry. Yeah. I picked that.
It threw my bad eyes off. I'm so sorry. But Brandon King on his Prince shit. I'm not gonna hold you up to the King shit anymore. You're staying at Prince level. Just because I just binge watched all of Game of Thrones for the first time recently. So like I'm all on my Lord, my Sir shit. You know. So whatever you want to be called, I got you, man. You're Sir Lord, Sir Prince. What is your pick for the MCU TV shows, my man?
You know, Sir Brandon King does have a nice ring to it. Just write that down. As far as, just to clarify, and I know we went over this initially, but there was some murkiness to me. Is this non-Disney Plus stuff, or is this any MCU TV show?
So it's all MCU Disney Plus stuff,
right?
But it's only Daredevil and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay, but so it can be Disney Plus shows.
Yeah.
Good, and I have a pick for that. Actually, I have 2 picks, and the question is, do I want to go populist or do I go me? And I have like a better me pick later on. I'll go populist with it. It's also WandaVision, and it's the moment that made probably all of us cry when we see Wanda go to Westview for the first time. I think that is some of Elizabeth Olsen's best acting, not just MCU wise, just period. I love the way that it slowly transitions to showing the plot of Land, showing how Vision was resurrected, so to speak. And then even just before that, showing the kind of quaintness of Westview, and that there's that look in Elizabeth Olsen's eyes when she's looking at the patrons of the cafe and just seeing like what she could have. And it's one of the many moments in that show that I think just resonates to Wanda's journey, first and foremost. Also, this is not related to anything. There's a TikTok that's based around that and the music from Up, and oh my God, it's beautiful.
It's I've watched that one, and it's
okay, it's amazing.
Sad. It's so sad. I honestly, the song by itself is pretty fucking sad. That just adds a whole nother layer to it. It's like a whole putting yourself through mental distress. But
just damn you, Michael Giacchino.
God damn it, Giacchino. We're gonna see his first directing efforts this year, hopefully with
Werewolf.
Werewolf by Midnight by Werewolf, whichever one. But you know what, Toriano, you've got the next pick under the MCU TV section for your third pick out of 5. This is 5 picks. I forgot to mention that earlier.
Okay, out of 5. Okay, I think I'm going to pick one of the most exciting moments of Phase 4 television, and it is the moment that Loki comes back from dealing with He Who Remains and Sylvie, and saying that there's, this man, and there's multiple of him, and there's so many of him, and there's so many evil versions of him, and we don't know where we're going to see him next. I think that moment at the end of Loki in the season finale is one of the most exciting moments because it's leading to Secret Wars, it's leading to Kang Dynasty, and so many things in Quantumania as well. So I think that's going to be my moment. That shook the internet for sure.
Yeah, no, that absolutely shook the internet. I remember watching that episode and just freaking out, going on Twitter and just seeing everyone just fucking just roar about, oh my God, this is going to change anything. And then we're sitting here like, what is it going to change still? But that's besides the point. I'm kind of stuck, guys, because I'm between 2 shows, Loki and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, do I do it? Do I feel ballsy enough to pick a moment from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Yeah.
Please don't. Please
Okay,
don't.
I'm gonna do it just because Gabe loves it. I'm gonna go Zemo dancing in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That is a good moment. That is a good moment.
Yeah, Gabe.
That's a great
Yeah,
moment.
Gabe.
That's a great moment.
You're a man
That
of
is a good
you're a man of the internet.
A man of
To be
many
fair,
He was coming.
like Falcon and the Winter Soldier feels like Emmy level show compared to the crap they're giving lately. So.
Gabe, can you stop
Sorry.
complaining? Oh my God.
Sorry.
Such a Debbie.
I love them all.
Dude,
They're
why
great.
do you gotta be so negative?
Your parents should
Sorry,
have
they're
named you
great. I love
Debbie.
them. They're awesome. They're awesome. They're really good.
Your parents should have named you Debbie for Debbie Downer. Jeez, oh my God. Loretto, can you
Continue.
spice some things up? Because Gabe is just putting up some funk sauce in this, and I'm not appreciating it. Oh God, what is he taking out? Oh no.
So
Oh.
Nice.
I didn't realize it was horns at first. I'm sorry.
I don't know if it's apparent, but Loki was my favorite Disney Plus MCU show so far. And my favorite moment, the most glorious moment, was when Richard E. Grant, in the classic Loki comic attire, fulfills his glorious purpose. It was excellent. Richard E. Grant is a fantastic actor, and man, Loki was just amazing. And also, shouts out Toriano. I appreciate that Kang reveal pick. Seeing Jonathan Majors in his full glory, setting the table for Kang, it was really exciting. So, glorious purpose.
Beautiful pick for you as well. Beautiful pick.
Loki just has so many great fucking moments, and there's still a moment that I'm shocked no one has picked from Loki. That if no one picks it, I gotta say it because I still think it's one of the best moments in the show. But as we progress, how you feeling, Maddie Waddy? Feeling good?
Yeah, I'm feeling very good, and I'm surprised none of you picked some of the most popular Marvel shows like Daredevil. Like, wow, I'm surprised. So yeah, for my pick for Daredevil is in season 2 where Punisher and Daredevil are on the rooftop and they're discussing their ideology of how they do things on the streets. And Punisher is all about taking out the criminals, and the Daredevil is all about putting them in jail. And that conversation between them gets me. And even the one line that the Punisher said, you hit them and they get back up, and I hit them and they stay down. I was like, damn, that's a fucking Emmy performance right there, dude. That was an incredible scene. And season 2 is my favorite.
No, yeah, Daredevil.
Can I ask something?
Seasons. No, you can't, Gabe. You've been shown.
Okay.
Sorry.
I just want to know why Sean thinks Low is horny. Oh, horny as in the horns. Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
I thought he you were actually
Gabe.
horny. I was like, oh, interesting.
Damn, okay. Gabe, just put F in the chat. F in the chat. That's all I gotta say to that. Oh my God. Gabe.
Hey, get your mind out the gutter, Gabe. Goodness gracious.
You can't get
Why are you
something
so
out
horny,
that's Okay. Dempsey, how are you feeling about this pick in the MCU TV shows? I know you're feeling a little saucy. You look a little saucy.
No, I to be honest with you, you picked my pick. I was gonna make probably the only mention of Falcon and the Winter
Revenge.
Soldier tonight. No, it's good. It's good
Okay.
because I have a whole notebook full, so no worries. But I want to compliment Matt, what you just said. I do love Daredevil as well. I think that one scene, where the quote that Daredevil or Punisher says, "You're one bad day from being me." I love that. I think that's an iconic quote. But that's not my pick. My pick actually comes from the most recent Marvel and Disney Plus TV show, Miss Marvel, which I'm surprised nobody has mentioned. And it is probably the craziest moment, and arguably the best reason to watch this show. The revelation that Kamala is a mutant. Mind blowing, and I cannot wait to see the implications it has for the future of the MCU. That's my pick.
It just zings every time. You just love to fucking hear it, no matter how many times you're just gonna shoehorn it into films at this point. But we're coming down to Marky Mark. How you feeling right now?
Nervous, so nervous to make my pick. I don't know. There's still a lot to be chosen from this phase, or from the TV shows. But it's tough. Glorious Purpose was taken because that's what I was going to pick. So shout out to you. Yeah, there's like 4 that go through my head that I could pick from right now, and it's like I don't want to pick the wrong one.
You got this, Mark.
I'm gonna go back to Daredevil, season 3, where Daredevil finally beats Kingpin and yells in his face, "I beat you." I thought that was such an intense scene to just cap off that series run. So
No, yeah, dude, the ending of season 3 and having that kind of be like the tipping off, because I remember when season 3 first came out, it was still super unknown whether the show was actually going to really come back for a 4th season after that. And I think if the character never came back in the way they're doing it now, I think they just had a perfect ending for the show, honestly. And having Daredevil being on top of Kingpin and just telling him that he beat him after beating the shit out of him. Yeah. I mean, it's a great moment,
bro. The 3-way with Bullseye, Daredevil, and Kingpin was brutal as hell. It was an amazing fight scene in season 3.
Dude, they should bring back fucking Bullseye.
100%, dude. Bring him back in Born Again in the Disney Plus.
I'm sure he gets blipped away, and that's why Kingpin and Bullseye can get back to power. So yes,
but as played by.
Yeah.
Can they bring back Colin Farrell?
Colin who? Sorry,
Colin
Gabe.
Farrell.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Why multiverse could happen?
Hey, hold on. The leather jacket was awful, but it was kind of cool having the bullseye tattooed on his forehead, though.
It wasn't tattooed. It was a scar.
It was a scar. It was definitely a scar on his forehead. But I'm not gonna lie, he stole the spotlight in that movie. He did.
Doesn't he kill a guy with toothpicks? He uses toothpicks.
Yes, he did. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a toothpick. It was clippers that he just like bent and just like.
Oh, even better.
It was clippers.
If I may, picture the idea of Colin Farrell's Bullseye in penguin makeup.
Oh, that'd be great.
Ooh.
That'd be fire as fuck, to be
honest. I say that half as a joke, but I'm also curious.
But dude, in the penguin outfit, he's totally unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Okay, Tommy. I know it's been away from you for a little bit, but your time has come again. How are you feeling right now with Phase MCU shows? I was about to say it all wrong. I had to say.
Well, Brandon got my first pick, so I guess that's a payback. But I have a good one too. So the reveal that the big villain behind Loki was He Who Remains. So when the elevator opens and you see Jonathan Major sitting right there, I was like, wow, they killed here. That was very good.
Yeah, dude, absolutely classic fucking moment.
Wait, hold on. Didn't Toriano pick the Kang reveal?
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Toriano picked it. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I'm sorry. So let's go with baby Wanda and her family right before the explosion. Like her watching, I don't know, the Dick Van Dyke Show, and then the explosion right behind her. That was like phenomenal too.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic scene. Fucking love that one so much.
Yep.
And damn, we're already 40 minutes into this shit. We got to pump this motherfucker along real quick. Max. You already know how this shit goes. What is your
Wait, hold on, time
pick?
out. How are we
What?
going to categorize that last one? WandaVision family scene?
Sure.
I don't know, Loretto.
Wanda as a kid.
Yeah.
Or yeah, flashback. Family flashback.
Wanda
I'm just
WandaVision
kind of like
family
Yeah, family
flashback.
flash. Yeah, family
Yeah,
flashback.
WandaVision family flashback. Just put that, yeah. Max, you already know what the ordeal is. Take it away, my man.
So I've already talked about the best Disney Plus show, Moon Knight, but I'm gonna pick something else from another show. Daredevil season 3, when he escapes the prison fight / escape, I guess. That's my pick for the MCU TV show. It's probably the best moment in any Netflix show is that scene where he escapes the prison and he fights a bunch of people. It's much better than the hallway fight in season 1 and season 2. It's like, amped up to 11. It's great.
I think I'm with you on
Hot
that
take.
one, Max. Honestly, I think I'm with him on that one. That show's fire. But you, Gabe, ring, ring, ring. Your girlfriend's calling. It's the wheel.
Oh God.
We've got 2 categories left: phase 1 and phase 3. Let's get it going.
Cornetto.
Cornetto.
Oh, we got phase 1. Okay. Shit. So, Max, you already know the ordeal. Take it away with a moment from phase 1. That's awesome.
Okay, well, the best moment in phase 1 is probably I believe to be the most underrated and underappreciated MCU film ever, Iron Man 2. When War Machine and Iron Man, they fight a bunch of hammer drones. I don't know how to describe that scene, but it's like they fight a bunch of drones together. It's like 30 seconds or some scene. I don't know, the drone fight or the hammer robot fight. I don't know. That's the scene.
Awesome. Sorry, I'm just putting the comment down. Holy shit, we got a lot of comments. I just started looking at them again. What about you, Tommy? Tommy, your name's Tommyverse, right? So I gotta ask you. You're looking into the multiverse right now, and what do you see from phase 1 as your next pick? Like, is it a good moment?
Oh, it's an amazing moment. It's actually the moment that leads through everything else. Nick Fury, post-credit scene in Iron Man, the Avengers Initiative.
Yeah,
Love it.
the very first post-credit scene that knocked
Yeah.
the fucking winds off our asses, bro.
Yep.
I love it so much, and the fact that we still have Nick Fury getting his like somewhat own co-leading show pretty soon, almost 13, 14 years later, still fucking mind-boggling.
I'm just happy that we're seeing more of Nick Fury this time around in his own solo show, which I'm so excited because he's been absent for so long.
Yeah, my man just disappeared. But Mark, how you feeling for phase 1 going back all the way to the beginning?
Pretty confident. I know exactly what I'm going to pick. I'm going with, from Avengers, Hulk thrashing Loki. Just like a rag doll right at the end. So
Puny God.
Yep. That whole scene, like, we're supposed to believe that Loki's super tough, and then Hulk gets his hands on him, and
He's like, "Bitch, please, dude." I laughed the hardest in the theater in that whole film. I was cracking up badly.
I feel like everyone did.
Dude, that was such a great scene because absolutely nobody was expecting it. It was
And then
such a
there's-
like okay.
and then there's a payoff in Ragnarok where when he sees him again, and he like is a little scared. So
Yeah, he gets a little freaked out. Love the payoff there.
I love Tom Hiddleston's face of, I need to get out of here now.
yeah,
That's now becoming a meme on that scene. I need to get off this planet right now.
I just need to get out of here.
Or when he did it to Thor, and he was like, "Yes, that's how it feels." I was like, "Great, that was perfect."
What a great moment. But Dempsey, are you feeling as loose as a piece of noodle right now with your next pick because you're so relaxed?
I feel like a wet spaghetti noodle.
Oh,
No,
dude,
no.
I love that. I love being a wet spaghetti noodle.
No, I know this is probably on your list. A bunch of you guys. I know Elon Musk's cameo in Iron Man 2. I know all of you guys picked it. No, that's not my pick. That's not my pick. My pick is also from the first Iron Man. but it is the thing that happens before Samuel L. Jackson's post-credit scene and his amazing cameo appearance. It is when Robert Downey Jr. gets in front of everybody, and he absolutely contradicts what happens in the comics, and he tells everybody that he is Iron Man. That subverted everybody's expectations. I remember watching it and being completely mind blown, and that sets this. And that, I would say, arguably sets the stage as much as Nick Fury's appearance. And yep, that's my pick. I am Iron Man. The first time he says it.
Damn, Dempsey, me and you really just gonna go back and forth at this point because that was what I was gonna choose. You motherfucker!
Revenge!
God damn it! But Jesus Christ, it's fine. It's fine. I got another moment for backup because I felt like someone was gonna come in strong with that. But Matt Wyatt, how you feeling, my man? How you feeling? You feeling good? You feeling loosey-goosey?
I'm feeling very good. I'm
Feeling
feeling
toasty?
juicy, bro. I'm feeling toasty. Yeah. The best moment in the phase 1 was in the Avengers, the scene where now the Bruce Banner shows up. And then Cap says, now will be a good time for you to get angry. And he was like, that's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry. Transforms into Hulk, smashes that the Shatari ship. And this is where the moment that they finally become a team of the Avengers. That moment slaps. Alan Silvestri score, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Chills every time I watch it. That's my favorite.
God fucking damn it!
Great moment. Yes.
Bro,
I have an inquiry. This is open to discussion. Everybody.
Low. Okay.
No. Because look,
I'm sorry.
before we started, we mentioned being specific, right?
I was joking. Yeah.
Does he only get the "I'm always angry" scene, or does he also get the money shot when the camera revolves around him? I feel like those are two different moments, in my opinion.
Yes.
Okay, so
I think
let's
it's one
vote.
scene.
If you think
In my
it's
opinion.
if you think it's one scene, just raise your hand.
It's got to be.
I remember them distinctly. They happen soon after, but they're two
Yeah.
totally different moments, I think.
So
Yeah, they're two
four
totally
people-
different scenes.
Oh no, I was saying vote if you think it's one whole scene. So okay,
Yeah, I
so
think
that's
it's one
three.
whole scene.
That's 3 votes for a whole scene. So it's not a whole scene. They're 2 separate moments. Matt, you got to choose between the hulking up moment or the full gather scene.
The Fall Gathering scene. I'm picking the Fall Gathering.
You fucking asshole! But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I can't curse on my
I
podcast,
mean-
so I got to let it out here.
Yeah, I recently just got yelled at, so I got to watch my tone. Matt, I'm so sorry you picked that because I was going to pick it. I don't know why you should be apologizing. But Loretto, I appreciate the effort for trying to give me that pick and trying to give you that pick. But
That's what I want.
ultimately- Yeah, I know. Ultimately, it kind of just fucked us. Just raw and dry, and it didn't feel good. And Loretto, why don't you hit us away with your secondary pick? But unlike you, I'm not stuck in a pickle because I know what I'm choosing still. I'm throwing shade.
Yeah,
at you,
no, I'm
though.
not gonna lie. That kind of threw me off. I was kind of going for that
Yeah,
one.
it really just fucked your whole vibe up.
All right. I guess I'll go OG. I'll go with Iron Man's first flight in the Mach 2.
God fucking damn it. Dude, literally 3 for 3 in a fucking row. I'm supposed to not curse as much, but
I
it
love
can't
this.
happen when this just continually knocks off my list. Like it was going good the first 3, and then you 3 assholes had to just come in here and just take them one by one. I'm sorry, this has just never happened to me in history. But Loretto, thankfully for you, I got another pick. I love all 3 of you, but I'm just jealous. I'm salty. I'm salty. Gabe just looks a little mad. But you know what? John in the comments has a very perfect idea. Incredible Hulk? I think so. I think The Incredible Hulk is a super underrated MCU film. While it might not be the very best, you guys can't tell me that the fucking ending of that, when Betty pushes him out of the helicopters, isn't just fucking badass in the handcuffs.
Dude, it was badass, bro.
It's
It was
so
awesome.
badass. My guy's just like, do it. And you're sitting there, he's like, he's handcuffs.
He's
and
like,
they
oh
kiss,
shit.
He just pushes him out, and he just looks, and he just takes a head dive too, and then it goes into a long shot pan in of the fucking dust settling in, and it's just his hand coming. You know what? That's such a great fucking scene in phase 1 that I think just gets overlooked so much. And I think a lot of you agree with me. So you know what?
Yeah.
Say whatever you want about whatever Louis Leterrier did directing wise. He nailed the visceral of Hulk.
Oh yeah, he did, dude. He was
did,
the strongest
absolutely.
Avenger, bro. He's the Incredible Hulk, the world's strongest.
Absolutely. I honestly, I know a lot of people criticize the MCU Hulk, the current date one. But the only real critique I'll give the Hulk is I still think they should have kept his original design from that first film. I think it looks so fucking cool. I love the design, but it's not very what MCU is now. So I totally get it. But you know what? We're moving on to you, Torian. How are you feeling with this pick in phase one?
You guys took a couple of my favorites. Luckily, I had one in the stash in the back of my pocket. And I am going to go with the moment that Captain America successfully gets the super serum.
Yeah, baby.
I'm going to go with that moment.
That's where the first Avenger all starts. I mean, unless you're Captain Marvel did come after that because they fucked they fucked us all up with that timeline switch in between those Avengers film. But dude, it's such a good moment, and I still think Avengers, the first Avenger, is one of the more underrated films in the MCU. Like the Incredible Hulk, I don't think it's one of the best, but I still think a lot of people give it a lot more slack than I think it deserves. And I love the love and attention for it, Tori, and appreciate it. Brandon, do you feel like you're on your king shit now? Because you told me not to put you on that ladder anymore. So I'm not trying to, but I want to because we're friends.
Well, I appreciate that, but also apparently I have no kingly powers because I voted that they were the same scene, and I have no sway in that. So the false king awaits itself. That being said, it kind of also ties into my pick, which is from a film I figured no one would take because I seem to be one of the few who loves it. The first Thor movie, and it's specifically the scene where, and I know there's probably going to be a little controversy around it, the scene where Loki confronts Odin about his parents.
Yeah,
which. I know that I kind of haven't really gone the action heavy route. I've gone more like the physical, the kind of physicality, emotional performance route of a lot of these performances. And I go back, I literally watched that scene like 10 minutes before we came on here. And I'm still astounded by Tom Hiddleston coming off of, all the like theater and stage experience he had. Anthony Hopkins, who already, even pre the Father Oscar was still shining as a performer, and the way they bounce off of each other. There's a sense of silence that Kenneth Branagh directs in. There's that great moment of, obviously there's the, tell me that everyone's, mean to death. But right before that, there's that, right after that, I should say, there's that great line where Loki's like, why? Because you're scared because I'm the thing that, parents tell their kids to be afraid of at night. And there's just so many lines like that in that sequence. It perfectly, I think, it's the thing that sets Loki on the path that he goes through the rest of the MCU. It's the thing that finally breaks his psyche and that kind of patrilineal lineage that he's struggled with for so long. And it's just a scene that I think doesn't get enough credit, even beyond just the obvious meme and Shakespearean angle of it all. But I love that stuff in the first Thor movie.
No, absolutely agree. I think that's the thing, especially within phase one, while they might not hold up to like what phase three is or like be in comparison, at least.
It absolutely.
They all
holds
have.
Up. What are you talking about,
dude?
Like, he's absolutely right. What are you talking about? It's directed by Kenneth Branagh. What's wrong with you?
Well, clearly there's something wrong with me, but I don't. Gabe, you just haven't given your next pick, and we all know it's gonna be shit.
Okay.
So you have the pick for your first pick is gonna be for phase one, and then your second is gonna be for phase three.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Just reminding you because I know you forget a lot.
So phase one, I'm gonna go with what I say about this draft, which is I can do this all day.
Yeah.
From Captain America,
classic.
The First Avenger. That scene in the hallway, he's getting beat up. He's like a little kid, and then he does two things that will define him. One is I can do this all day after he's like being punched really hard, and then he grabs like a trash can, like the lid of a trash can, and uses it as a shield. Just like,
the lid,
this guy, yeah. So this guy's gonna be, the guy. So that's a good moment. I'm surprised nobody picked it. I wish I would have picked that Shakespeare moment in Thor, but I'm happy somebody did. That was very good. And then for my next pick, I mean, it's the obvious one, right? It's the Avengers Assemble moment in Avengers Endgame, because it's probably one of the.
That's definitely up there, Gabriel.
Yeah, it's one of the best moments, like crowd pleasing moments in the history of film. Like very few movies have gotten that reaction, even from normies. Like everybody was excited at that moment. It was really good. I don't know if they're actually assembling. There was more like charge or whatever, but it doesn't matter. It's a great moment.
It unironically just became like one of the best teases in all the MCU history up until that moment without anyone really realizing it. And it was so the satisfaction of him finally saying it and having everyone just stand there for the first time in like history. Every single character you never thought what you'd see in live action. It's just like, dude, bust a nut all the way. That's exactly how it felt. But Brandon King, you're on the top right here, my man. And you got the second pick for Phase 4. There's a lot of great moments in Phase 4, so pick wisely, my friend.
Oh, and I thought we were. Are we not switching to Phase 3 or
Phase 3?
Oh yeah, Phase 3.
Yeah.
Sorry, I see.
was
Yeah,
gonna
Phase
say.
3. No, yeah, sorry, I didn't mean Phase 4. Phase 3.
I was all ready and I blanked.
I'm just trying to throw you off, Brandon. Deal with it. I'm just trying to throw you off, bro.
It's like you study for a test and then it's freaking trigonometry test. And
It's
you're like, oh, I didn't study.
It's a trig test, but they give you a social studies test. Ha, joke's on you.
Joke's on you. I can't read. If we have established anything from my picks in this, like I've chosen a couple action bits, but for me, I really resonate to the MCU for a lot of the smaller moments, the more intimate stuff, the stuff when the performers actually get to be actors and actresses and really show their stuff in terms of emotionality. And there were two picks in Phase 3 that I think could have stood toe to toe, both of which I've cried at, and I've cried at very few movies. I think, but I will give it probably honorable mention in the post show just because it means too much to me. But I think I'm gonna follow up with Endgame, but it's a scene that nobody talks about, and I think it's one of the most beautiful things in the MCU. It's when Scott comes back and sees Cassie.
Wow, I love it. I love it. It's such a raw scene.
It is some of the most, yeah, you're right. Some of the most raw, emotional, poignant acting Paul Rudd has ever done. And the lead up to it is so perfect. Like we see the initial thing beyond the blip, and then obviously the stuff with the rat happens, and oh, that's a plot hole or whatever. But whatever. Like Scott's back, he's exploring the world. We get this great sense of world building and dread. We see the kid on the bike, and then we see the monument. And from there, it is just a minute to 2 minutes, whatever the hell it is, of just straight panic. And when he finally sees Cassie in the door, and just that, I remember watching the theater, and the 3 times I saw Endgame in theater, I teared up every single time. I think it is a poignantly beautiful scene. It goes back to, we talk about Endgame as far as, populism and audience appeal and all these amazing things. And I completely resonate with all those things. But I think at its core, it's also a movie about loss and dealing with that sense of loss. And to have that moment with one of our key characters who might be, I think arguably Scott is the most optimistic of all the Avengers, possibly. And I think to see him at his lowest just for that moment and to have him get just a semblance of happy ending while everything else is going to shit, I think it's just a really powerful moment in the midst of the everything of Endgame.
Yeah, it was also kind of unexpected, especially coming off the end of Infinity War and getting those 2 previous films post Infinity War, and no one really ever having a happy ending. And the film that starts off unhappy, unironically, has a happy ending for someone somewhere at some point. And it was a nice, refreshing taste in the beginning. And Toriano, you got the 3rd pick, man. There's so many great fucking moments in Phase 3. Where are you thinking you're going to go with this final pick that you got?
Oh man, I was sitting here steaming, man. I thought I had a few more picks ahead of me, but since I don't, I am going to go with the final battle scene in Endgame when we see everybody come together. When we see Black Panther arrive, when we see Wong, when we see everybody pull together from Doctor Strange as well. So I think that's my moment.
Wait, I'm fried. Or
doesn't that count as Gabe's
that's Gabe's pick. Yeah,
that'll count as Gabe. Okay,
the first one. Yeah.
Okay,
unless
I'll
it's your moment in the scene.
I would do the Wakanda Forever.
Well, hold on. Gabe's moment was when Cap says Avengers and Assemble and they all charge. That's the only moment in that movie. And your moment was the portal when they all come together.
Sequence.
I feel like, I mean, not because it's my pick, but I feel like the build up to the Avengers Assemble moment.
Yeah, I feel like that's all in the moment. Yeah. I feel it all just kind of connects.
Okay. I'll do You Should Have Went for the Head.
Yeah, that's a classic one. Dude, you should have went for the head.
That's a great.
It's like one of the most unfortunate lines in the MCU. Like as soon as everyone heard it, I just remember sitting in the theater at 2 a.m. and hearing everyone just gasp when he said that and lifted his hand up. just like Ash was like, oh shit, he got him in the heart, but he still won. Like, it's fucking crazy. But you know what? I gotta just do it because I want to just, give all your hopes up already. But I'm gonna go with the I am Iron Man moment, his snap, Iron Man's finality in the MCU, his final rap on his birthday present, the Arsa de Trois of his fucking career in the MCU. I mean, the only other time I cried in the theater was when Marley died in Marley and Me. And this is the other moment. So
wait, they
I'll
die?
say that.
They die in that movie? I haven't seen it.
No. She gets a cookie and goes to the farm. I'm kind of shocked that went down to me, but there's so many other great moments I feel like in Phase 4, Phase 3. Why do I keep saying Phase 4? Holy shit, Ryan,
Because you're a moron.
No, yeah, that too. That's too, Gabriel. Loretto, you go, my friend. Phase 3 moment.
I'm not gonna lie, I am so happy this fell to me because this is seriously one of my favorite moments, and I think I've been kind of so with my picks. I kind of got blindsided. I wasn't even supposed to be in this draft, y'all. I'm just kind of helping you guys out here, but I'm glad this fell to me. I gotta go with the Battle of Wakanda. Rocket and Groot and Thor land, and then he does the infamous "Bring me Thanos." That's my moment right there.
But then Thanos is not even there. It's kind of funny.
It's still awesome.
It's a great moment, but he's not there.
It's great.
Yeah.
Matt, what about you? What's your final pick in Phase 3?
Damn, there's so many incredible moments in Phase 3 with an Infinity War and Endgame. Oh man, I'm gonna have to pick the one with Tony Stark leaving the hologram message to his Pepper and Morgan, his death message, and he just says the one line, "I love you 3,000" to Morgan. That shit hits me very hard in the emotional level that I just teared up. That was my favorite one.
Dude, absolutely. So I think that's the thing with Phase 3 is we get so many fucking emotional moments that they just all fucking rock. And Dempsey, I'm hoping. I really hope that I stole your last pick. I really hope that was your first pick, even though you're like in the middle. I really hope that kind of like diminished your spirit right here.
Nah, bro. Toriano stole it though.
Oh,
so I was gonna say the snap because that's a great scene. I mean, first time a villain has ever won in a good versus evil battle in like any mainstream Hollywood movie, which is crazy. But my pick truly to piggyback off Matt with the sentiment. Because I feel like everybody just forgot that there are other movies in Phase 3 besides Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Yondu saying he may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy. That shit is so good. That's my pick.
Love it.
Love it. Dude, I had that one on my fucking list too. And if all the moments that I wanted were going to go down the shitter, I love that you chose that. That was a great fucking moment. Marky Mark, how are you feeling about your last pick?
Dude, I'm going not the same route, not going to Infinity War or Endgame with my pick. I'm going to Civil War to when Cap and Iron Man are fighting and over because Bucky killed Tony's parents, and Iron Man or Captain America says, he's my friend, and then Iron Man replies with, "So was I," kind of just fracturing their team and friendship, which then leads to the events that kind of really go sour in Infinity War. So that is my moment.
That is the moment of absolute disparity in my book. But Tommy, how are you feeling about your last pick, my man?
Very good again. So let's go back to Wanda. So Wanda versus Thanos in Endgame for sure.
Nice.
That's when we knew there was more coming with her.
Dude, that was such a great fucking moment, just having her in the middle of Thanos and Vision. Oh, I love it so much. And Max, you get the final pick of the draft before we get a 10-minute intermission onto our post-game show. How are you feeling with this last pick right now?
Wait, right, real quick. What was the last one? I was elsewhere. Sorry.
It's Wanda versus Thanos. That's what he said.
Versus Thanos.
Got it.
Yeah.
In Endgame, yes.
Did no one pick Cap holding Mjolnir in Endgame?
I don't think we did.
No
oh my
one
god,
picked it.
I'm picking it. The greatest moment
Nice.
in
Cap
MCU
being
history.
worthy.
I
Cap
knew it.
being
Worthy, and then fighting Thanos. That in the theater, everyone usually it's very quiet when I go see movies, even when it's sold out. But that moment, everyone just went completely nuts.
Thor and
At the
Cap just
sight
tag
of
teaming.
just Cap holding the hammer and then boom, smacking Thanos with it. Oh my god, that was one of the most electrifying moments I have seen in a movie theater since I was born, I guess.
Was the
And nothing
pun
has topped
intended?
it.
I audibly said, "Holy
really,
shit!"
nothing
the
has
pun
topped it right
intended?
now. So yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was absolutely a fantastic moment. I'm shocked it went that low. And as per usual, guys, that wraps up the draft section of the stream. We're going to go to a 10-minute intermission, get a pee break, get some drinks, get a refreshment. You know the ordeal. Then we're going to break down each team with my man Loretto. So we'll see you guys back in 10 minutes. And yeah, go piss if you have to.
evening, good afternoon, or good night, whatever time it is where you're watching it. Welcome back to the Suit Up Geek Fix channel. We just ended our greatest MCU moments of all time draft. This is the post-game show. Really quick, I want to thank everybody in this excellent panel. We had a lot of great moments to choose from. It's been a great time. Some of these teams are stacked as I was kind of putting this post-game list together. And without further ado, let's get this cracking. We got a lot of stuff to get into, folks. Again, thank you guys for watching. If you are still watching, if you're just joining us, welcome. Let's get into it. All right. With the very first pick of tonight's draft, we had our good friend Gabriel from Film Opinionitis. He came out strong. He came out with the No Way Home money shot, where we finally get the 3 Peter Parkers due to multiverse rules all together in one beautiful shot, as you can see in the still there. His next pick was kind of a out of left field, underrated pick, but I liked it. It was Quill's pelvic sorcery. He puts the headphones to kind of like almost serenade Gamora. They have their like cute little moment. There's like a nice moment of sensitivity versus like all the action and all the nonsense that the Guardians get into. Underrated scene. With his 3rd overall pick, he went with the Daredevil hallway scene. Shouts out to Old Boy, which was the inspiration for that scene. Old Boy, if you haven't seen it, 2003, Park Chan-wook, check it out. We also have I Can Do This All Day from Phase 1, when Steve Rogers in the alleyway puts up the trash can lid and takes on the bully. It shows Steve Rogers' character. Excellent scene, and he rounded it out with arguably the best scene in the MCU. Like, it's arguable, but most people love it. It's the Avengers assemble moment, and they get the charge against Thanos' army. So, Gabe, welcome back to the drafts, man. How do you feel about your performance tonight? And if you could, what would you grade your team?
I think it's great. It's one of my favorite lists ever. I feel like, I mean, the MCU is full of these moments, right? The pelvic sorcery, of course. Even though I really like it, I don't know if it would have been my first pick, but I had the last pick for Phase 2, so I just went with it. But yeah, I think it's great. Especially it got the 2 like big team up moments, it's great.
Awesome. And if you could, what would you grade yourself, man?
8.5.
All right, excellent. So before we open up the floor here, holy crap, the chat is popping. Thank you, everybody who's still in the chat. So Mr. Crockpot says Gabe is winning the whole thing, and Caitlin says it's a pretty good list. I'm going to open up the floor to you guys. What do you guys think of Gabe's team? Hot takes, cold takes? What do you guys got? The floor is open.
He's definitely not winning. No.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave. Your Peter Quill pelvic sorcery is not going to give you the W, my friend.
You'll need to use pelvic sorcery to win.
I think this is. I mean, unless Gabe, you got the power yourself, do you?
Yeah, I just want to say this. I feel as if the first and last pick are really what's carrying it, and I think people are going to put a lot of weight on those 2. Don't get me wrong, that I Can Do This All Day is iconic. It's completely iconic. But I do think the first and last pick are what's carrying it as far as the grading. But that's just my opinion.
I was going to say, between No Way Home, Avengers Assemble, and the Daredevil hallway scene, like, let's not forget, the Daredevil fan base has been getting rabid the last few years. Like, between those 3, you have a pretty powerhouse team that I think can carry the other 2 for the quote-unquote niche appeal that they have.
I just think this is going to be a draft where like each pick actually, I don't want to say like each pick doesn't matter, but like each pick really matters over the grand spectrum of things. I feel like once we get to the final round, there's not going to be one thing that helps carry the entire team like some other drafts sometimes. I feel like there's so many great moments in this draft that it's really almost might just come down to preference. I think those first and last pick are really strong, and the Daredevil hallway seems strong, but like the sorcery, I Can Do This All Day, and hell, even the hallway scene might even not get you all the picks, because I still think see a lot of people talk about the hallway scene still being outbeaten by the staircase scene and so forth. So that's my input on it all. So Gabe, get fucked.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. This team is really dope. I mean, you got No Way Home money shot with the 3 Spidey characters together, which everybody was losing their mind from that swinging sequence, and the shot of the 3 of them like opposing was dope. Pelvic Sorcery was my least favorite, even though don't get me wrong, it's one of the funniest moments in that movie. Daredevil hallway scene was like it was like where the hallway fight scene was born. Like the most people that always talked about to this day was just mind blowing the way they shot that scene in Daredevil. And I Can Do This All Day is still an iconic line from Steve Rogers because this is just his greatest catchphrase in the MCU. Avengers Assemble, that was something that it was built upon from the start. And seeing it in context really had the biggest payoff. Everybody was cheering, including myself, and it was dope. So I really enjoyed your team.
Thank you.
I think I agree with Toriano that the first and fifth one are carrying this list. I do think it's a very creative list, but I have to argue that I think the first and the fifth one are so generic and like the clear ones that any of us could have picked if we were given the chance. That kind of hurts it in a way because these are the ones that everybody loved, and for all great reasons. Where I think what really makes a good list is that you pick something specific. So I think personally, I like 2 to 2. Your choice is 2 to 4 more than 1 to 5 because of the personality or how they kind of talk to your personality more, if that makes sense. But overall, I think I think everybody's lists were great.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you on that.
Well said. Ryan O'Toole gives you a 9, Gabe. He just said you just picked straight iconicness. He really appreciates the iconic shots that you picked. So I think that's one thing you got going for you. I mean, like Dempsey was saying, you went for the popular scenes, and those are the most popular ones, I think. So, all right. Do we have any other takes for Gabe? All right. Next up, second overall for the Knights, we had Brandon. Welcome, Brandon King. He started off pretty interesting. He went with the Doctor Strange music note fight. Forgive me, I ran out of room there. He went with the Air Force One rescue in Iron Man 3. The origin of Westview, seeing Elizabeth Olsen just put her soul on the screen as she reveals her what was supposed to take place in this home. And unfortunately, obviously Vision was taken from her and all of her grief comes out and she creates the hex. And excellent moment. Number 4, you went with a Thor scene. I didn't think Thor 1 would get much love, neither Thor Dark World either, but Odin revealing Loki as a frost giant from Jotunheim. I thought that was a powerful scene. I'm glad somebody gave Thor some love there. And your 5 is actually an underrated scene for me as well. Scott seeing Cassie post-blip. It's been 5 years, and I love that line where he's like, "You're so big." It's just, and who doesn't love Paul Rudd, and just seeing him torn up, it really adds a lot of emotional weight to that scene. I think it's a good list. Brandon, how do you feel about it? And if you could give yourself a grade, what would you grade yourself?
See, the thing about this is when I came into this draft, I kind of realized, there's going to be a couple of scenes that I can choose from. And then as I was kind of going through the films and going back through my own memories of a lot of them, I kind of realized there's a bit too many to count. I think we all kind of had the same thing where we probably had like 20, 30 things that we probably could have listed in our drafts. And for me, I think I could have had a combination of a lot of those and had a pretty good gauge of like my own personal taste for the MCU. I understand that this is not, the most mind-boggling list. It's certainly not Gabe's list. Like, he chose the iconic populist shots from that, and I totally respect that. And I think I would argue that the Air Force One scene has become a little iconic, like at least to a certain demographic. I've heard some people point out the Doctor Strange thing. Obviously, WandaVision has its fans, but there's no pick in here that I think is universally beloved. And I think that's also what makes it kind of great as far as an overall list goes. I think I took characters at some of their most vulnerable, interesting positions that I don't think people necessarily give credit for. I will certainly argue it's not, again, the most flaunting of any sort of MCU moment in this, but for me, it's a pretty easy 9. I stand by all of these choices.
Well said, man. And if you could grade yourself, what would you give yourself for the grade?
9 out of 10. Sorry.
Nice. Well done. I think it's a good list. What do you guys think? Open floor. Anybody could take it.
The Air Force One scene in Iron Man 3 is an all-timer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can all see that Brandon has a soft spot. I think we can all see the emotion in these picks. I think all of these really have an emotional tie to all of the different characters in reference to them. Even the Iron Man pick, it's a very heartwarming moment because he's saving somebody's life, and seeing somebody in the Air Force, it's gonna tie to the military, things like that. I think all of the picks have that type of sentimental. Aside from the Doctor Strange pick, I think that was a strong pick as well. But I can see you have a soft spot. I think we all can see that from the rest of the picks.
I like 3 to 5 because they're just like not what everybody thinks about, but then you remember the moments. You're like, oh, this was a great moment. I don't know vote wise what it is, but I think I picked more like what people cheered with, and you picked more like what resonated with you emotionally. So I think that was great. The Air Force One rescue, I mean, it's okay, but then it's like a punchline for a joke. So it's, I don't know, it always undercut the moment for me that just ends with a joke, but maybe that's just me.
That's fair enough.
Barrel monkeys, grab a monkey.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun. I mean,
But, like,
it's Tony Stark, man. He always quips.
Yeah, like it's like Age of the Ultron, where it's like, okay, get in the tub.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely do have a great solid list. I mean, Doctor Strange music note kind of gets a little bit overhated, but I'm one of the people that enjoy that scene.
It's so cool. It's one of
that
the
was
coolest
such a
scenes in the movie.
creative. It could have been done so poorly, but it actually worked for me for some reason. I don't know why, and I will say that I enjoy the Air Force One rescue because it was done practically. If you watch behind the scenes, like this was not done on green screens or anything. I mean, the only CGI was the explosion in Iron Man, and that's pretty much it. Most of it was practical stunts, and that was one of the most appreciating scenes, even though it's not one of the greatest moment for me. And the Odin revealing Loki's true heritage, that really got me so much. Like that was one of the most underrated moments in that movie, and that I really loved. And Scott seeing Cassie seeing her 5 years later, 15 years old, all grown up, because 5 hours ago she was only 10, and seeing her all grown up just really blows my mind. And seeing the performances just was so believable and emotional, and Paul Rudd delivered it, and I got teary-eyed every time I watched that scene.
I gotta second the Iron Man 3 love. I was this close to picking up his scene where he enters Aldrich's mansion with no suit. He has like all his gadgets, like he kind of MacGyvered.
Oh my god!
I was this close to taking that. So shouts out Iron Man 3. Anybody else got some takes for Brandon?
I'm just gonna say that. Well, I'm just gonna say that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness for some reason gets a lot of hate, but that music fight scene is like one of the most creative displays of just pure maximalist entertainment that the MCU has done before, but now has perfected to do something like truly spectacular and different. And I really love that scene in that movie.
I completely agree, and it also has a slight tie back to the first Doctor Strange, where the first thing we see of Steven is his love of music, and now seeing that blown back in his face.
Yeah. 100%.
I was also going to point out about like the Doctor Strange music note scene. Totally underrated. One of the few times where I think, I mean, the music has always stood out to me in the MCU, but where literally the music gets the spotlight and they're literally flinging music notes across the room. You can't get any better than that to me. And I think it's truly one of the best moments in the film. So I appreciate the fact that you chose it as one of the best moments in the MCU.
Thank you guys. That's so kind of you. I appreciate it.
I was gonna say, shouts out Sam Raimi. I'm actually one of the people that really, really enjoyed Multiverse of Madness. I wasn't on the side that didn't like it, so I'm glad we got some love for it. If we don't have any other takes, we're gonna go on to our next.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I do agree with you that Multiverse of Madness is. I consider this more of an underrated movie because this movie gets so much overhated in that for a lot of people, and it's because it's a very divisive movie. But I enjoyed it more and more I watch it.
Definitely, but I think that's just the internet. When it comes to Cape shit, the internet's gonna swing one way or the other. It's very rare we get a unanimous love for one thing. So, as we move along here, great job, Brandon. We got Toriono, another newcomer. Welcome, man. I know you had some work troubles, so I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you finally got to enjoy with us. You got a little bit late on that first round there with your pick, but I think it worked out. You have a fun team, so let's break it down. First overall, it was Phase 4. You picked Shang-Chi getting the 10 rings. Shang-Chi blew my mind. I'm a huge martial arts fan. I grew up on Jet Li and Jackie Chan, and Seeing that kind of come to life in the MCU was amazing. You went with Wanda grieving Pietro in Age of Ultron, a very underrated moment, but I think it is a very emotional. And we actually got to see the power of Scarlet Witch a little bit there before we see her later. Number 3, you went with my favorite Disney Plus show, Loki. You went with He Who Remains, revealing the existence of Kang. Jonathan Majors, in his glory, just chews the scenery and kind of lets his presence be felt in the MCU. I thought that was excellent. You went with Phase 1, Steve Rogers becoming Captain America when he finally gets a serum, busts out of that thing with those muscles all getting Peggy all flustered. And your final pick, you went with, you should have went for the head. Thor stabs Thanos with Stormbreaker in the chest, but he's still able to get the snap off. Epic moment, Toriano. So again, welcome to the drafts. Welcome to the Suit Up Geek Fix channel. How do you like your team? What would you grade yourself if you could?
Thank you. If I had to grade myself based on where I was picking each time, I would probably say I give myself a 9 out of 10. Just because the first round I wasn't completely sure what all picks were made in the round 1. So I feel like I got a good selection in round 1. Round 2, I started getting a little confident and getting with the Wanda pick with Pietro, and getting a little comfortable in the draft. And 3 through 5, I feel like those are pretty strong picks and very iconic in their own right to each of them. And
what would you grade yourself if you could? You said a 9, right?
9 out of 10. Yeah, 9 out of 10.
So Caitlin's loving the Shang-Chi pick. Ryan agrees with me. He thinks Ryan O'Toole thinks Loki's the best Marvel Disney Plus show. Again, that's a hot topic for people to debate. Let's open up the floor, guys. What do we think of Toriano's team? Hot takes, cold takes, go for it.
I'm just wondering, what's the scene of Wanda grieving Pietro? Am I blanking out? What's that scene?
So Age of Ultron, in the train, she's in front of Ultron, and like the scene where she rips out actually it's not the same moment, but it's when Pietro gets shot and she feels it. And then her power surges.
Oh, yeah, she destroys some robot. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, got it. Yeah, okay.
I want to point out that at least 3 of your picks, and this is a term that I just came up with right now, the term coming of age, this is coming of cape, where you get Shang-Chi getting his rings, you get Steve becoming the essence of who Cap is supposed to become, and then Wanda really coming into her own with her powers. So I kind of appreciate that kind of consistency.
Oh, yeah. And the reveal of Kang. I guess you can kind of count that as well.
You could even argue with Thanos, like that's the beginning of him as like the next phase of his life. So I kind of appreciate that in all aspects.
Oh yeah.
So Caitlin says it's the scream when Wanda just lets out her emotion, knowing Pietro got shot. So I think that is an effective part of the scene there.
I will say that Wanda grieving Pietro was kind of my least favorite. Not because the performances were not the powerful performance from Elizabeth Olsen, because it was phenomenal, but Pietro doing the sacrifice, it didn't really hit me as much because we didn't develop much of Pietro's character in Age of Ultron. He was just around and didn't really have that many dialogue, didn't have that much development for me to have that much of an impact. And also, you just introduced him in the MCU and you killed him off in the 3rd act, which that kind of really bummed me out. I mean, I thought I don't know, it didn't get me as much, but the performances from Elizabeth Olsen really hits, and it was a good moment. And He Who Remains, I loved it. I loved the scene, the performances of Jonathan Majors, and from that season 2 finale of Loki. I mean, season 1 finale. My bad. And it just set the stage of the multiverse saga, and you're definitely going to see more variants of Kane, which is starting off with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which I cannot wait. And Shang-Chi, like powering the 10 Rings was just jaw-dropping. It was awesome to watch. Steve Rogers becoming Captain America was a great scene as well. And you should have gone for the head. That gave me chills every time I watch it. From seeing Josh Brolin doing that performance, oh my god, it was just, it just like you gap and you just hit in silent.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Every time I watch it, I just pause. God. Like
it just paused. You just don't speak. Everybody in the audience was very quiet.
You could hear a pin drop, definitely.
That was more of a mic drop.
Anybody else got some takes for Toriano?
I just got to emphasize, I'm still mad you chose my pick of when he missed his head. But no, it's a really great list, man. And what I like the most about it is that you chose something from like all different films, and arguably really underrated scenes in those movies. Like the movie's called Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, but you don't think about the moment that he actually gets the rings and becomes, the legend. I mean, we all knew that. His name escapes me. Who's gonna play He Who Remains? His name's at the tip of my tongue. Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors is gonna play him, but we didn't know how he was gonna play him, and it doesn't matter because he's gonna play him in a bunch of different ways in the future. So, I like I said, I really do appreciate your picks. They're very out of the box thinking, and great list.
Yeah, great job, Triano. And just to say, I'm glad that Jonathan Majors is finally really getting his chance to shine here. I mean, he's great going back to Last Black Man in San Francisco, The Five Bloods. He's a phenomenal actor. Lovecraft Country. So I'm glad he's really starting to blow up and shine now.
Country. Oh my God.
Yes, I was so sad it got canceled. Let's keep it moving. Great job, Triano.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we had Bat Nipples himself, one of our 4 Suit Up Geeks here on the Suit Up Geek Fix channel. Let's break it down. He went with the No Way Home, with great power comes responsibility, full circle speech with all the Spider-Men kind of acknowledging their loss. Andrew talking about MJ, Toby talking about Uncle Ben, and literally Tom Holland just lost Aunt May. It's a very powerful moment. I know you're a big Spider-Man fan, right? So that makes sense. Next up, you went with the end of the line at the end of the fight when Cap and Bucky are fighting Winter Soldier in the finale there, and he's just pounding Steve Rogers' face into hamburger meat. But, Steve, with his, of course, linking back to First Avenger, he says, I'm with you to the end of the line. And it's just such an emotional moment between 2 best friends, practically brothers in arms. Great moment there. And then as you can see in the picture, we got Baron Zemo in the club showing off his moves. I'm not going to lie. It's such a silly pick, but at the same time, the internet was in uproar. Zemo is one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite villains. And I love the moment of fun for him because he's such a serious, somber character. So I actually love it. I think it's a great pick. I'm sure Twitter will love it as well. 4th round, you went with the Incredible Hulk when he falls out of the helicopter. Epic moment before he fights Abomination. A very underrated pick. I actually like Incredible Hulk more than most. If you ever look at my rankings on Letterboxd, your last pick, you went with I Am Iron Man as Tony snaps Thanos and his army out of existence. It brings the MCU full circle, especially the Infinity Saga, the whole 23 films that it encompassed. What a moment. So, Ryan, man, how do you feel about your team? You think you're taking this, man? What would you grade yourself?
I'm dancing on to first place, baby. That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like I'm going clubbing after this. No, honestly, I was kind of pissed about the No Way Home, having them swing into action, the power shot moment. I was pissed about getting that taken, but I had to throw like some type of Spider-Man into this list because how do you talk about MCU without Spider-Man? And I still think this is still one of the more meaningful and powerful moments in the MCU. I feel like it not only just comes together for a specific character in the MCU, but for generational characters as well at the same time. And they added a more complex meaning to the term than I think a lot of us had originally just thought they'd ever go with it. And I think they really tied it well together. Same goes for end of the line for the Captain America line. At the end of The Winter Soldier, kind of just full circle for their bromance, which is top tier, I think, and I think it was a really great development. And it just shows you that even though Bucky was brainwashed, the power of bromance and friendship still always surpasses everything. And having them both fall together after the ship blew up and watching him pull Steve back ashore after he was unconscious, great moment. Baron Zemo in the club. It's so popular that they dropped an extended clip of this. Like, come on. It's fucking pure fire. How do you not love Zemo just going to the club, letting himself free after just murdering countless fucking, like, Russian spies in Civil War? Like, it's so fucking different. The Incredible Hulk chopper drop. Honestly, outside of the chopper drop, having him kick. I forgot the character that plays the Abomination.
Tim
my
Roth.
God. Tim Roth, yeah. I love when he just kicks Tim Roth into the tree and he just becomes like a fucking bag of nothing. That's always just, I've always found that a funny moment. And then you've got the classic I Am Iron Man. How do you not fucking vote for I Am Iron Man snap? That is the snap of all snaps. That is the moment of all moments. This is everything that was being built to in the first 3 phases. And this was the climax to it all. So I find it hard not to vote for this. Just putting that out there, but I'm going to give this like a 10 out of 10, baby. I fucking love my list, to be honest, top to bottom.
I respect it, Batnips. Ryan O'Toole says, Toby, Andrew, and Tom on the rooftop talking was his favorite moment in the No Way Home. I was actually looking for a high definition still that I couldn't find in time during the intermission, but that's why you only have one picture, Rye. Sorry about that. But yeah, you have a great list, man. Anybody else? What you got for him? Any hot or cold takes? You want to let Batnips how much his team sucks? What do you guys?
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, this sucks, Ryan. Honestly,
of course, Gabe.
I mean, honestly, the first one and the last one are good. The rest are just like, it's a funny meme that you put online, but like, come on.
It's true.
Might as well just pick the Robert Redford nodding meme that it's just like whatever. This sucks. It's like 3 out of 10.
The Zemo scene was like a 3-second moment. Like we couldn't really appreciate it that much.
Yeah,
it was just cut to him doing a little dance, and then cut back to like whatever the Falcon and the Winter Soldier were doing at that moment.
Also, the Incredible Hulk, what chopper drop? Everybody's gonna wonder, like, is there a chopper in that movie? Like,
yeah,
what is
he
that
dropped from the chopper to fight the Abomination at the end.
I know. I'm just fucking with
you
it
act
because
like
it's
people
like
don't know this movie that well, but people just shit on it, but yet have every remembrance of this movie.
Didn't it gross like $100 million at the box office or something?
This was like right after Iron Man, though, and no one knew it was connected. So you can't even say that, Gabriel.
All right, one of our Suit Up Geeks is in the house. Amanda's like, Gabe, she's telling you to be quiet. She said, shh. Hi, Amanda.
I mean, she said it right here. Brian's team is God tier. Just want to put that out there. It is the best team. Just want to throw you all under the bus.
Right. You do have an incredible list, dude. Like, it slaps. I mean, my least favorite was the Baron Zemo Dance Club. Don't get me wrong, it's a funny and enjoyable scene to watch, but it's not something that we needed. I feel like that was just used for the memes.
It's a meme because
it was made for the memes, but don't get me wrong, it's a fun, enjoyable scene. No Way Home is the best one because it's definitely my favorite moment of the movie where you're now getting into the emotional moment, seeing him getting the Tom Holland Spider-Man getting that support group that he really needed because he's suffering through loss and grief and the loss of death. And you've seen Andrew and Toby telling him like, hey, we've been through what you've been through. And they just tell their story and their experience. And it got me every time I watch it. I got chills. The moment that Toby said my Uncle Ben was killed, oh my God, this is where it started to get emotional and very serious because you've seen the past Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movie. You saw his origin story, and then you see Andrew Garfield's performance and him experiencing the loss of his girlfriend, Gwen Stacy, was so good. I mean, arguably, Andrew Garfield stole the spotlight from performance-wise. It was just an incredible scene to watch. And then hearing Toby say, with great power comes great responsibility, oh my God, so... It was a fan service that was very well earned, and I thought it was very well executed. The Incredible Hulk, which to me I thought it was a very underrated MCU film that most people don't like, and the chopper drop was pretty dope. That was awesome. And then the iconic scene of I Am Iron Man snap. Everybody lost their minds, including myself. That's something that we did not see coming, and it was a great parallel to back to the first end of Iron Man where he first says that line. It's because the MCU is basically a poetry, to be honest with you. It delivers.
Really quick, guys. I just want to say happy birthday, Ryan O'Toole. Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you for spending your birthday with us.
You gave yourself a 10 out of 10. We showered you with praise, but I think that's enough.
Just quick question, I don't know if this was did we all not of the Spider-Man representation? Were all the picks No Way Home? Did we not pick Far From Home and Homecoming?
Damn, you're right.
I find that fascinating.
We didn't. No, I know it's hard because Homecoming especially was in Phase 3, and it's like it's hard not to pick Infinity War or Endgame. So it's like, you're right though. You totally called that out.
Well, they both were in phase 3, right?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, they both were. So
Yeah.
it was hard to compete with the powerhouse Avenger films there. But I would have chose Come On Spider-Man, if I'm being honest. If I had another round to do another Phase 3, I would have chose that.
Yeah, me too.
All right. I was a fill-in. Unfortunately, our other guest couldn't join us. But yeah, I had fun, guys. I'm not going to lie. I was talking about the list that I didn't create today. I was going to create a list. I just got really busy at work, and I kind of winged it. So I'm not happy with my round 2 or my round 4, if I'm being fair. But, it is what it is. I went with the first round overall. Andrew Garfield saving MJ. I thought the redemption for his Peter Parker was amazing, especially because Andrew Garfield's such a great actor. You could tell how much he loves being Spider-Man. And in No Way Home, you could just see him, like, how happy he was being Peter Parker again. And I thought that was great, especially for him to save Zendaya there. In the second round, again, I kind of panicked. This was a tilt pick, I'm being honest. I just went for the action in Winter Soldier because I know Winter Soldier is popular. Definitely not the best moment, though. Ryan called me out. Whatever. It is what it is. But, of course, number 3, though, I will gladly take Glorious Purpose. Shout out Richard E. Grant. I mentioned it during the draft. One of my favorite scenes in my favorite show. Iron Man's Mark II flight, probably like not my favorite choice from Phase 1, but I was kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel there. But I think that sequence is really awesome. The special effects in 2008 were actually really, really strong. They still hold up today, I think. I think the way Iron Man looked in that first film, arguably he looks the best he's looked ever. So you can put that up for debate with the nano suit or whatever you want to call it. My last one, though, I think I'm happy with that. Bring Me Thanos, Thor arriving in Wakanda during the battle at Wakanda. Definitely one of my overall favorite moments in the MCU period. So I'm happy with it. I'll give myself like a 9, maybe an 8.8 to be more humble. What do you guys think? Did I draft a quality team? Let's hear what you guys got.
Loretto, I gotta say, for somebody who this is literally done on the fly, you literally have 4 out of the 5, or you chose 4 out of 5 moments that I spent a week crafting in this notebook. So for you to come up with that on the fly is pretty damn impressive. And I think they're pretty good picks.
I was going to say minus me panicking in round 2. Yeah, thank you. I feel pretty good about it.
It's a good one, but I have a question for you. If you'd had time, would you have picked the elevator scene before the Nick Fury ambush?
Oh my god, that's such a brain fart. That's
because
such a
we
good
all
scene.
forgot about it. We all forgot about it. Manda brought it up, and I was like, holy... I would have picked it too.
I feel like Dives was screaming at the TV as I mentioned Nick Fury. He's probably like, what?
But does the elevator scene have air conditioning operational?
Nope.
No, they just break open the window and the breeze comes in.
Yeah. I was just saying, to defend myself a little bit, I thought the AI integrity compromise, like with and then 5% on the window integrity, whatever. I thought that was kind of suspenseful, but yeah, definitely not the best scene in that film.
I want to call it the very end of that sequence, which is when Winter Soldier properly appears and you hear Henry Jackman's Winter Soldier score. Oh, it's one of my favorite uses of music in the MCU. It's so good.
Really
there's like that little like nails in a chalkboard screech like that.
Yeah.
It just gets under your skin. But yeah, thank you. I mean, I think honestly, if I could go back, I would definitely go with the elevator scene though. Anybody else?
Yeah, my controversial opinion on the Winter Soldier is that the Nick Fury chase scene is much better than the elevator fight.
Ooh.
In terms of how it's
whoa, hold up. Hold
up.
What? Yeah, hold the phone here.
It establishes tension brilliantly, and then the action is really well executed, especially the gunfights.
Yeah,
and
the
awesome.
car chase, like leading up to when he gets stuck, it's fantastic.
What's really great about it is that it lasts a pretty good amount of time, so you get the feel, you get the momentum of it, and then it starts to amp up the intensity, and then the Winter Soldier shows up like the cherry on top of the cake. It's like, oh my god, It's like it's our first it's our first introduction to the Winter Soldier in that movie, and it's brilliant in my opinion.
I appreciate that I have buyer's remorse, but you're actually backing up my backup pick, so great.
I do want to quickly echo your thoughts. Richard E. Grant is having a goddamn time, and I love it.
And you know, honestly, when I first saw him in the comic accurate Loki suit with like the neckline, the yellow, like the bright yellow, I was like, yes, like he's so perfect for that. So.
Yeah, dude, Loretto, your list slaps, bro. It did. It slaps so hard. It's so good. Like my favorite of this list was definitely Andrew Garfield saving MJ. Like, come on. Like, we kind of all called it the moment that they were trying to tease us the suspense in the trailer for No Way Home, where we're questioning, like, who saves MJ? Was it Toby? Was it Tom? Was it actually Andrew? Which we kind of already figured it had to be Andrew. It makes sense for the story and in his character arc, because after what happened in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where he couldn't save Gwen, but this was his last chance to redeem himself, where he can save one person who is Tom's Spidey's girlfriend. And I thought it was very well executed. Everybody clapped, including myself. I was so emotional, and it was very well executed. The Nick Fury ambush was pretty dope. Don't get me wrong. I love that scene. It was on the edge of your seat. The score delivers and the choreography. But going back to what someone said, that, oh yeah, they prefer this scene over the elevator fight scene in Cap. Like, I had to disagree, because I thought that one was way more dope, to be honest with you. But don't get me wrong, I love the Nick Fury ambush. It was great. The glorious purpose in that Loki that episode, that was pretty dope. Like, Richard E. Grant delivered that performance. I loved it. Iron Man's first flight in the Mark II flight was jaw-dropping when I first saw that in the theater, and it felt like I wanted to be Tony Stark flying into the first time, because I've always wanted to fly, and it would have been dope to actually do it in real life if that actually happened. And then bring me Thanos. Holy shit. That scene was mind-blowing. The score delivered with Alan Silvestri with the Avengers theme, him showing up in Wakanda with Rocket and Groot, was everything. It was mind-blowing, well executed. Your list is dope, dude.
Thank you. All right, well, let's we're gonna almost in the halfway point here. Let's keep it moving. All right, Matt, you're actually next. So, first scene, round one, you had Ned opening up the portals to reveal Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire for the first time. Obviously, whatever theater you were in for like weeks, you got to imagine the reactions, people gasping, people cheering, and it's definitely an epic moment in the MCU. The second one was Project Insight. Nick Fury and Cap talking about how S.H.I.E.L.D. is ruling by fear. A very underrated scene. Next one, you had the Punisher and Daredevil conversation. Another conversation, but definitely one like you were illustrating during the draft. It's a powerful moment. John Berthnell killed it. I love that contrast between him and Red. I also love his delivery of, you know what, Red, just with his his grit and his ferocity. You went with the Avengers First Assemble, which I actually was hoping that would come back to me. So that's kind of why I got all scrambled in phase one. And you finished it off with I Love You 3000. I mean, it's an iconic line. Everybody knows it. Everybody remembers it. And you have to have a heart of steel and not feel something when Robert Downey kind of gives us his final farewell to us, the audience, and the MCU. Matt, how would you grade yourself, man? And how do you feel about your team?
I love this team a lot, dude. I love it so much because I love the part when Ned opens the portal and you're seeing Andrew and Toby coming out of it. Because through halfway through the movie, we kind of suspect that they were going to show up, but there was always a fear that they could pull a 180 on us. Like, what if they don't show up? There was always this fear. And then seeing the portal come up and then seeing Andrew first come up and like, oh my God, he's actually here. And it was mind-blowing, and the way that the performance was well delivered, and it was funny, it was charming, and you finally gave Andrew Garfield the biggest comeback after getting crapped on from this past two Spider-Man movies, saying that, oh yeah, he was the worst iteration Spider-Man to ever put out, until you see this in this film, it won everybody over. And then Toby comes up. Everybody was mind blown because these are still fans who are still fans of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, and they're fans of Tobey Maguire, and it's now becoming real. And then see them two interact was just incredible, very well executed, and I loved it. The Project Insight rules by fear was definitely one of the most underrated because it kind of almost set the stage of setting up the ideology between Tony and Steve in Civil War. Because you got to remember, those new designs in those Project Insight was designed by Tony Stark. It was done by him. It was not just by S.H.I.E.L.D. or Nick Fury. He had a little bit of insight of the design of the helicarrier. And because after what happened in New York, after aliens invaded the whole world, he had to be prepared for the worst. But Cap was all like, no, we don't want to rule them by fear by having weapons and being armed. And that was such a great scene between him and Nick Fury, and that gets me every time. And the Punisher and Daredevil in the rooftop scene discussing the whole thing of how they do things on the streets, where Punisher, he's all about taking out the criminals at all costs so that they will not do any of this stuff again. Daredevil was all about going by the book. And that scene was just, performances was just one of the greatest ones in the history of television. Avengers First Assemble, come on. How did that not give you chills every time you watch them assemble for the first time? And the shot is just the money drop. It's definitely one of the best shots in the history of films. And in the scene of I Love You 3000, where he's given his recording from his death and telling that, hey, that the hero's journey is an end, and saying I Love You 3000, that was a great parallel to what Morgan told him in that scene in Endgame. And it's really about saying goodbye to the audience. Like, hey, I played my character very well for the last 23, whatever, how many films, and the way they've done it it got me teary-eyed. If you did not cry in that scene of I Love You 3000, you're a serial killer. I don't know how you not get teary-eyed. So I'm going to give this thing a 10 out of 10.
Well done, man. Open floor, guys. What do we got for Team Matt? Any hot or cold takes?
Everyone clapped at the Ned opening a portal scene in No Way Home, except my showing. It was the quietest thing possible.
That sounds bizarre.
Well,
one question. Did you go to the opening night for No Way Home?
No, because cinemas were closed because of COVID.
Oh,
there you go. Well, there you go.
Dang it, Canada. Blame Canada.
Blame Canada.
Thank you. All the hucky hullabaloo. No, sorry, Matt. Sorry. Sorry, Manda, too. Manda's from Canada, so. All right, anybody else?
I do want to ask you, Matt, because it seems like everyone has a different reaction to this. When the portal starts to open, what was the second that you realized that was Andrew?
The moment he starts facing over and be like, huh, what? And that's I recognize Andrew Garfield's Spidey outfit from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's got to be him. But the guy next to me thought is that Toby? He was like, no, you moron. That's definitely Andrew. What the hell are you talking about? Recognize your Spidey suit, bro.
Which is why I asked, because I know everyone has a different second instinct of what it is.
Right.
Right. And I do also love it for Ned. Ned's a great supporting character, and I feel like No Way Home, for the complicated feelings that I have on that movie, actually gives Ned agency within the story, and I love that for him.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Also, shouts out Ned's grandma. I'm actually a Filipino American, so
the grandma was great
in a freaking Spider-Man movie that just warmed my heart. So shouts out to Ned's grandma.
Yeah, she's great in the movie. Loved it.
All right, y'all. Let's keep it trucking. Good job, Matt. Next up, we had Team Dempsey, another newcomer. I'm so happy to see all these new faces. Man, you had a very interesting pick, but some of your picks seriously are some of my favorite moments of all time. And let's kick it off. You went with Agatha All Along, that infectious tune in the vein of the Munsters, and the font was Munsters. And it's just so interesting to know that, hey, she killed Sparky too. She was pulling the string. She created Ralph Boner. What an epic twist to WandaVision. Second of all, if it's not obvious, I got Groot right here. I'm on board with We Are Groot. That's definitely in my top 5 if I had to make a official moments list. Look at this. Look at the clip here. Groot wiping Rocket's tears with a branch. It's just such a emotional moment and such a great moment for the Guardians. 3 is a surprise for me. Kamala is a mutant. I would argue it's definitely groundbreaking and earth-shattering, changing her origins from the comics. I know she's supposed to be Inhuman, but Inhumans didn't do so well with their show, and I guess Marvel's trying to pretend it didn't happen. But I think it's an interesting way to bring the X gene into our universe. Tony Stark reveals, I am Iron Man in Iron Man 1. Iconic line, iconic moment, hell of a delivery from Robert Downey Jr., and it really established his stardom in that moment, and that Iron Man, that film itself, just took off from that. And your last pick, man, it really gets me in the feels. Yondu and Quill saying their final words to each other and letting him know, look, Ego was your father, but he wasn't your daddy. Just an amazing, amazing moment. What's his name? Michael Rooker did a great job. How would you grade yourself, Dempsey? And what do you think about your team?
Well, perfection is subjective. No, so I'm not going to give myself 10 out of 10 like some of the other fellas here. There's always room for improvement. In hindsight, I think that Kamala as a mutant is probably my weakest answer here. But I really love it, not only because, as you said, it's a very interesting alternative to bringing in mutants into the MCU. But I know it pissed a lot of those toxic fanboys on YouTube off, which I always love to do because there's so many of them. Agatha All Along, a classic. I cannot emphasize this enough. Catherine Hahn, let this sing in. Catherine Hahn was so good. They're giving her own spin-off that, as far as we know, was never planned to begin with. So I think that's pretty cool. Groot, classic Groot. I hope he comes back eventually or he's reincarnated in some way, shape, or form. But in the meantime, I like the younger ones. They're great. Tony Stark, I Am Iron Man, as you said. Or as I said also, it subverted expectations. People thought he was just going to deny it and that they were going to figure out some sort of way for him to come back. And the MCU was going to go in a totally different direction. But nope, he opened the door wide open for one of the biggest franchises in the world right now. And Yondu's line, as a father myself, it still gets me to this day. And it's such a brilliantly crafted line that you don't think about until it's more like the inflection of the way he says it that really blows your mind. Yeah, ego, yeah, he may have given birth to you. You might be his spawn, but he didn't raise you. You weren't on his ship for 20, 30 odd years. So that's all my thoughts.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So let's open up the floor. But real quick, Ryan O'Toole says, now I'm sad thinking about the We Are Groot scene. I mean, man, James Gunn in both of the Guardians films, as you can see in the pictures, he really hits us in the feels, man. But yeah, what do we got for Team Dempsey? Any interesting takes we got?
I have a question. Can the line, he may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy, be used in bed?
God damn it.
I mean, it obviously.
It's a question. It's a question. I don't know.
Jesus.
I mean, it obviously could be, Gabe. I mean,
Is that what you say with your public sorcery?
Yeah, Gabe just comes in from the back and just whispers in their ear.
Oh God, this show has turned into the after hours post game show.
Dude, this is supposed to be a family show. This is not an adult show.
I said in bed. I didn't say anything else. You could sleep.
Well.
One of us is called Bat Nipples, so I mean, is it really a family show?
Watch Diddley Arctic, get that profanity out of your mouth holes.
That's a good point.
Hey.
Good point.
Batman pulls a credit card out of his asshole. Is that family friendly? No.
Oh my, we're veering off the rails.
Take that
here.
back credit card and shove it.
He did. Yeah, he shoved it all right.
He did.
But yeah, welcome Dempsey, man. You did an excellent job, man. I honestly really like your team, and I appreciate the Guardians love. I feel like, did anyone else pick Guardian stuff besides Gabe?
I was gonna pick the Yondu's funeral if a lot of the
that was a good one
stuff
too.
was taken. That was one of my picks.
If somebody picked, no, wait, that's it. Only We Are Groot. Oh,
yeah, those are only three.
I was thinking
nobody
the opening
picked
scene, actually.
We're the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's it, bitch.
We're the
Whatever
freaking
it is.
Guardians of the
No, he's like, you
Yeah.
said it yourself, bitch. We're the Guardians of the Galaxy.
What about that? Nobody picked that, or no Kurt Russell. What's wrong with us? Yeah.
No, what's
I
wrong
think in
with
the
you for
grand
not
scheme of
using
things,
it?
right? We're trying to win, or we're trying to get votes. So I think it's subjective, right? So
yeah,
you guys were all obsessed with Spider-Man and Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War. I told you there were more movies, guys.
He's not wrong.
I tried
He's not
telling
wrong.
Gabe that. He didn't
Yeah,
listen.
no, I mean, you're not wrong. I wouldn't have picked anything from Miss Marvel, but if there's a moment, I guess it's that one.
We're not thinking fourth dimensionally. I do go back to the adage that we've going with, like, yeah, James Gunn not only made a successful Guardians of the Galaxy movie, he made it where the emotional crux is between a raccoon and a tree. And then beyond that, Agatha All Along charted #1 on iTunes. So like the MCU is already on its pace to dominate music as well, which is a little bit of a terrifying thought, but the song bops, so I have no problems with it. And it's a great like kind of mission statement for Agatha as a character and her chaotic nature and everything. And I can't wait to see House of Harkness. I will say I adore Miss Marvel. I love seeing the representation on here. I don't love that moment, but if that's the only representation on this list, I will take it.
Nice.
Yeah, you got a solid list. I mean, I will say Agatha All Along was one of the most popular twists in the MCU, and even though, like you said before, Brandon, that it became the #1 song on iTunes, it did. And the scene "We Are Groot" was such an emotional moment that I loved in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. And according to James Gunn, the translation of "We Are Groot" says translate "We Are Family," which that makes more sense. And Kamala being introduced as a mutant, I'm not gonna lie, I did not like that moment. It was cute to hear that now she's the first mutant in the MCU, and hearing the 1990s animated theme song, which it was cute. Don't get me wrong, but I just didn't like the way they've done it. And Miss Marvel is solid show, but not the greatest. And Tony Stark revealing "I am Iron Man" to the world, where he is Iron Man, it was a great quote. But it set the stage that there's no secret identity, because we're so used to seeing superheroes having a secret identity and live two different lives. And Tony Stark's character in Iron Man just really set the stage that now you can reveal yourself and become one person, which that's something that I did not expect. It took everybody off guard. And the scene in Guardians Volume 2 where Yondu said, like, he may be your father, but he wasn't your daddy, that really got me emotionally. Even that's when that Quill realized that yeah, he gave birth to, I may have been blood related to Ego, but he did not raise me. I grew up with Yondu. He was always been more of a father to me, even though he wasn't perfect. And that scene, that's when he knew that Yondu was always been my dad the whole time, and that really got me.
I do want to just quickly build off your Robert Downey Jr. point, which is that I think we've become so accustomed to what RDJ did in that role. And I actually went back when I was looking through different scenes, and I went back to that scene. There's a great sense of like use of pauses in that scene, and you can kind of tell that as he's looking at Pepper and Coulson and all the different reporters, like the entire movie is kind of flashing before his eyes.
Did he fourth wall break? I feel like he fourth wall break and say like, "Yep, it's happening, guys." He was looking at the screen.
But yeah, I just kind of like that dimension that you can look at it as. It's like it's the whole movie coalescing into this one moment that also just filters out into the rest of the MCU.
Can I piggyback off that, Brandon? I also want to say, like, to your point, it almost seems like he made the decision on the fly, right? Like in that moment, he decided to do that. So it wasn't like pre-calculated or anything.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah,
job,
he made that up on the fly. We all know that. We saw that coming.
All right, next up, we got Marky Mark back in the house. Man, his list is pretty fun too. I gotta say, I'm kind of looking at it right now. In the first round, you went with Scarlet Witch killing the Illuminati. She went full Carrie mode. Look at the picture there. She got the blood all over her, and she's just tearing them up. Number 2, you go with Age of Ultron when Cap kind of gives Mjolnir a little tug, a little nudge, and that look on Thor's face is priceless. Definitely a fun moment. Round 3, with Daredevil conquering Kingpin. An epic brutality, like scene of brutality there, showing Matt Murdock's just feral side. Definitely an epic moment in that series as a whole. Number 4, you went with Hulk smashing Loki, kind of bouncing around like a friggin' Looney Tunes character. I'm not gonna lie, I laughed my ass off. I mean, I don't know who didn't, but that's definitely one of the best moments from that film period. And lastly, you went with the iconic Cap versus Iron Man fight. I had to throw up the still of the Civil War comic. The fact that they recreated the comic cover was just such a cool shot. I'm so glad to see that kind of come to fruition, even though it didn't necessarily share a lot with the comic itself, but just the shot was beautiful. How do you feel about your team, Mark? And if you could, what would you grade yourself?
I feel very confident with my team. I'm 100% behind all my picks. So to go off of Bat Nipple's vibe, I'm giving myself a 10 out of 10, or a fucking 10 to quote him. But yeah, I mean, besides maybe getting Glorious Purpose instead of Daredevil, taking over Kingpin at the end of that season 3, I'm still, it was a 1A, 1B pick for me. And I think down the line, I think these are all pretty iconic moments, and hopefully that stands the test of time for us when there's 7 phases down the line.
Awesome. And we got to wrap things up. We're at the 2-hour mark. So really quickly, guys, do we have any takes for Mark before we keep it trucking along here?
I love these picks. The best one, in my opinion. The best list, a 10 out of 10.
Really?
Scarlet Witch kills the Illuminati.
High praise from Max.
Amazing. It's amazing. That scene is so cool. I remember seeing it in a theater, and I went completely nuts at the sight of just Scarlet Witch just brutally killing all these people, going, okay, well, the cameos were just there for for this for the film's excessive body count and the way that it was done, it was brilliant as well. And I love also Daredevil conquering Kingpin. I would have picked that probably as my TV pick if you didn't. So yeah.
I gotta ask you, Mark. Do you think Cap was slow playing Thor? You know what I mean? Like maybe he was worthy the whole time, but he didn't want to embarrass him or something like that. Because it's like, why wasn't he worthy back then? Right?
I think I've heard one rumor, and I think we discussed it on the Infinity Bros podcast, where he didn't become worthy until he told Captain America what Bucky did, or told Iron Man what Bucky did. And
that's not a
when he
bad
became
theory,
worthy.
actually.
So
but then again, going back to the argument of like, why was he worthy then? Well, go back to the first Iron Man movie where Thor tried to lift the hammer, but he couldn't because he wasn't worthy at the time until the third act finale where he makes this self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
So why was he worthy then? That's a good question. I mean, we don't know.
Well, and we got to be dictated on what Odin decides who makes worthy for Mjolnir. So
I will say you definitely went with a ton of populist picks, and I respect the hell out of it. Specifically, the Cap picking up Mjolnir scene because it ties into the whole dinner party from Age of Ultron, which is great. Yep. And then just the Cap versus Iron Man. I know people shit on Trent Uplook cinematography all the time, but I think that's one of the instances in Civil War where that kind of confined sense of grayscale really works for the scale. So I like the list a lot.
Awesome, great job, Mark. It's great to have you back, man. Any other takes, really quick, before we keep going?
I did enjoy the Cap versus Iron Man. That scene slaps. That's what I will say.
Oh yeah. All right, Tommy, unfortunately, who had to depart. He's another newcomer, another rookie in this draft style of moments and films here. So let's break it down. His number one first-round pick was Wanda becoming the Scarlet Witch in WandaVision. That threw me for a loop because, and I know it's Phase 4, but I really appreciate the WandaVision love here in this entire draft, and that's actually one of the best moments as well. She finally dons her horns and she does the full costume change, and she does the magical hex thing on Agatha, kind of like learning about the runes and all that, throwing that back in her face. Round 2, he went with the Cap versus Bucky fight, definitely one of the best fights in the MCU period. Third round, he went right back to Family Vision, WandaVision. Talking about that flashback scene where we learn about the bomb and why WandaVision is so enamored with those shows. It was the family kind of coming together around those shows. Round 4 went with Nick Fury recruiting Tony Stark. If I'm not mistaken, this is our only post-credit scene, but it's a hell of a post-credit scene. It kind of paved the way for all the post-credit scenes to come. What a hype moment for comic fans to see Nick Fury do that. That's when we knew the MCU was really, really coming to life there. And with your final pick, Tommy, he went with Wanda versus Thanos in Endgame. Wanda was about to straight murder Thanos up until he rained fire. She showed how strong he was in that moment. So let's just kind of break it down really quickly for Tommy, even though he's not here. Any hot, cold takes? What do we got for him?
I just think it's interesting. 3 out of 5 are Wanda moments. Which, if somebody doesn't like Wanda, I don't know if they're going to vote for him. Yeah, it's interesting because 2 are WandaVision, right? Because of the Phase 4/TV situation.
Yeah. You know what's interesting though, Gabe? Wanda supposedly has a rabid fandom. Some people
She
hate
does.
her fandom. Some people, don't care. So I think he has that on his side. So.
Yeah, definitely.
I think after what happened in Multiverse of Madness, the fandom kind of had a lot less than after that movie of Multiverse of Madness.
He could have picked a moment from that too. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know because that Wanda versus Thanos moment, it doesn't really resonate much to me because he's never met her and he acknowledges that, so it's more funny than intense in my view. He's like, I don't even know who you are. It's like, who? But I'm fighting you. I don't know. It doesn't really.
I genuinely love this list, partially because Wanda's one of my favorite MCU characters, partially because he stole the Cap Bucky fight from me, and I'm still a little salty about it, but I respect his taste. But also, Nick Fury post-credit scene, we don't talk about that, but you're right. It's one of the most impactful scenes in the MCU, and I do want to quickly toss it back to the family flashback real quick, which is for all of Wanda's meta commentary on the state of television and the kind of structurized television things that the show, I think, brilliantly took advantage of. That's the kind of thing where it kind of turns a mirror back into itself of this is what it can do from a humanistic point of view instead of an actual narrative point of view. And I really respected that.
Well said, man. Anybody else? Almost done here.
Yeah, the Cap versus Bucky was such a incredible fight scene, and then taking off his mask and seeing the reveal of Bucky was just one of the most impact. And finding out that his best friend is still alive, calling him Bucky, and Bucky's like, "Who the hell's Bucky?" Like he doesn't remember who he is. Like that's just an incredible scene to watch. Nick Fury recruits Tony Stark in the post-credit scene in Iron Man. It really set the stage of the setup of the Avengers team. They definitely announced that they were planning on doing multiple films building up to the team up of the Avengers. And the moment he says that line, Avengers Initiative, we did that Leonardo DiCaprio from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. There you go. There it is. He said the thing. And yeah, it's definitely a solid list. I liked it.
All right. So I don't know if Tommy is watching right now, but if he does see this another time, great job, Tommy. You're an excellent addition to this draft panel. Going on to the next team, we had Max from Quebec. Welcome back, Max. He had a tough go of it the first time he drafted, but you came back and man, you got some epic moments here. So let's go. Round 1, Layla becoming Scarlet Scarab. I believe this is our only Moon Knight selection. It's another divisive MCU show, but I really liked it for what it was. It wasn't my favorite, but I liked it. You went with the round 2 with Iron Man 3's Mandarin twist. Shouts out Ben Kingsley. He's a amazing legendary actor, and he just his character as Trevor Slattery, whatever. It's hilarious. Whether it's Shang-Chi or Iron Man 3, he does an amazing job, and I actually thought the twist was fun. I know comic fans are pissed because that's not the real Mandarin, whatever. I thought it was fun. Arguably, the original Mandarin from the comics is kind of borderline racist. I'm not going to go there right now, but round 3, you went with Daredevil escaping the prison in that final 3rd season of Daredevil. Round 4 was interesting. You went Iron Man 2. A lot of people's kind of lower rated film in that phase, but you went with the team up with Iron Man, War Machine, taking out those drones or whatever you want to call it. That what's his name? Mickey Rourke created. I forgot his name in the film. Last round,
it was Whiplash. Yeah, Whiplash.
Yeah, what was his actual name though?
Ivan. His name was Ivan
Vanko or something. Yeah, Vanko. Okay.
Ivan Vanko.
It's been a while. I don't watch that film a lot, but Mickey Rourke is cool. Anyways, with your final pick, you went with Cap is worthy, and arguably, I mean, this could be someone's favorite of their list. I mean, this is just such an amazing moment. I'm gonna let you break it down, Max. How do you feel about this draft? This is your second time around. What would you grade yourself?
Well, I certainly feel better than the first time. That is for sure. I don't get the hate for Moon Knight. I think Moon Knight is phenomenal. I love the show. I love pretty much every single aspect of it. There's so many moments in it where I went like completely crazy, but that was it. When Layla becomes the Scarlet Scarab, like for me, it's in the top 3 best MCU moments of all time, with Cap holding Mjolnir as number 1. And so to get like my 2 favorite MCU moments in the same list, I feel pretty good about that. I think Iron Man 2 is a very underrated movie. I don't know why people don't like it that much. I think it's got some really great action set pieces. It's beautifully shot. It was one of the last Marvel movies they shot on film. It looks great. And Daredevil, of course, is one of my favorite Marvel shows. I loved the action set pieces in season 3. Season 3 is probably the strongest of the Daredevil seasons, I guess. And Charlie Cox just kicks major ass in that sequence. It's amazing to watch. And I also love Iron Man 3. I think the Mandarin twist was brilliant. It angered a lot of people. I remember some of my friends were like, Iron Man 3 sucked because of that specific scene. But I thought it made the movie better because it wasn't really necessarily a Marvel movie or an Iron Man movie per se. It was really a Shane Black movie. And really, they let Shane Black do whatever he wanted with that twist, because if Marvel had full creative control, I don't know if they would have gone that route. That's
well said. Yeah, it's a borderline Christmas movie, right?
Yeah, it is.
Shouts out Shane Black.
Yeah, I mean, Shane Black movies, they're all set pretty much during Christmas. And as a rating, I wouldn't want to rate myself a 10 or my list a 10, so I'll give it an 8, solid 8.
Awesome. Yeah, man, I think you did great. I think a lot of people are going to vote just for the Cap picking up Mjolnir alone is going to get you a lot of votes. What do you guys think? Anybody else got some interesting takes on Max?
I wanted to piggyback on what you said earlier that Iron Man 2 was the last film that was shot on film. Because from what I've heard that the first Avengers movie, it was shot both film and digital at the same time. And that was the last film that was shot on 35 millimeter, but it was just more of a mix match here and there. But anyway, I do love the scene with Iron Man and War Machine teaming up. That was the best part of the movie, even though I didn't love it as much, but I didn't hate it. And Cap being worthy, oh my God, that scene slaps. Everybody was losing their mind in the theater. I was losing my mind that I cannot believe that the scene actually came to life, and I loved it because Cap is my favorite character of the MCU, and I loved his character. And that I will not lie. I mean, I did like Iron Man 3, but I did not love it. I was not at the time. I did not like the Mandarin twist because I felt like that they were just building up for him to become one of the best MCU villains because you got an Academy Award winning actor, Ben Kingsley, to play a villain, the Mandarin, and then seeing that in context, it feels like they took a dump over it. But anyway, that being said, like I can forgive that scene because now they got the real Mandarin in Shang-Chi, which that's I can just give that a pass.
Tony Leung is amazing. By the way, in
yeah,
Leung,
it's amazing. Yeah, he's great. And Daredevil escape from the prison in season 3 was fucking awesome. Seeing Matt, and this was when he's not in the suit; he was just Matt Murdock.
Exactly.
The showrunners always comes up with any creative way of doing that single shot of the hallway scene, and it slaps. I loved it.
Shouts out to the Shang-Chi scene where Trevor's like, if they could get those horses to those apes to ride those horses, then what could I bring to the world? Like I was dying, like him thinking the Planet of the Apes were real apes, like
apes on horses. But I agree with you, Max, that I loved Moon Knight more than most people. I think to me it's my favorite MCU show for Disney Plus today.
Yep.
To this
Same
day.
here.
I think it's a very better show than what people say it is.
No,
Oscar Isaac killed
Moon Knight is amazing.
Oh yeah, he did. And Oscar Isaac is now getting an Emmy nomination for Best Actor. Like, he deserves it.
Well, he didn't get it. He didn't get nominated for Moon Knight. He got nominated
did he?
for. No, it was for scenes from a marriage. I think.
Oh, okay.
Spicy show.
All right.
Awesome, Max. I think you might be a contender this time. We'll see how Twitter feels, but. That wraps up our draft. We made it. We are 2 minutes and 22 minutes in. I am admittedly kind of breaking down over here, so I'm glad we're able to wrap things up. But I think everybody did an excellent job. I had a lot of fun. I didn't even think I was going to be in this, so that kind of threw me for a loop. Let me toss it down to Dempsey. Thank you for joining us. I think you did a fantastic job.
Thanks,
a lot of excellent insight as well, man. Let people know where they could find you and what you got new going on with your content.
Oh, well, I am the editor-in-chief over at the Diz Insider. Max is also a contributor there, so it's a pleasure being on this with Max. And yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Dempsey Pilot. That's where I post my stuff. I also am a writer for FilmSpeak and Cinefied. And I used to be on YouTube. I paused for a minute, so maybe, I don't know, this might be the start of my comeback. Who knows? But yeah, no, thank you guys so much for having me. It was a blast. I had a lot of fun.
Likewise, man, it was a pleasure. And guys, check out the Diz Insider. They come out with a lot of great late breaking news. Matt, what's up with you, man? Long time no see.
Dude, it feels like it's been like 1,000 years since I has been on this show. Man, I'm just so grateful to be back on the Suit Up Geeks. I love being on here and doing drafts, trivias, whatever. And now, if you want to find me, you can go find me on my Twitter page. It says Matt White 651. And if you can go to my my bio where I have a link tree where I have like Instagram, Snapchat, and then I just and I started a TikTok account about a couple of months ago. Now I've joined the TikTok gang. I was very apprehensive of trying it out, but now I did. And if you want to check out my TikTok account, I did a bunch of like acting challenge duet, and I did a bunch of movie reviews, singing duet, whatever, all that stuff. If you want to find it, go find it on there. And I'm so glad that I actually do a lot of reenactments of favorite iconic scenes like the MCU, for instance. I had a lot of fun there. Go check it out.
Thank you, Matt. Give the guy a follow. Check out his TikTok. Max from Quebec, thank you for coming back, man. You came out swinging this time, man. I'm proud of you. I think you have a shot, man. So where can people find you and what you got going on with some of your stuff?
That's right. Well, you can find me on Twitter, Max from Quebec. My review for She-Hulk: Attorney at Law is live on thedisinsider.com, and I hated it. So I guess you can
Shots fired.
You can read what I have to say on thedisinsider.com. But Marvel stuff, I interviewed a bunch of people that were that contributed on Moon Knight, including May Kalamaui, who plays Layla. Then also one of the cinematographers, the composer, the costume designer. They're all nominated for Emmys. I think, the costume designer, the composer, and the cinematographer that were nominated for Emmys. I also interviewed the cinematographer for Miss Marvel. Most recently, that was my most recent Marvel interview. And I'm about to interview also the VFX supervisors as well. And as a bonus, if you want, because a lot of people love this movie, you can find it on my Linktree on Twitter. I also interviewed the composer for Morbius, which is arguably the greatest Marvel movie of all time.
Yes.
Check it out. You can definitely check out. It's a great interview. It's really great, and there's a lot of really nice insight on crafting a more spectacular score for this movie. So check all my interviews out on my Linktree. You can find that on Twitter. I'm on This Insider Film Speak as well, and other publications, Hidden Remote, Screen Rant, Awards Radar, The Playlist, Film Cred, etc., etc., etc.
Every website ever, basically, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Hell
yeah! I have an article coming up soon on Inverse on the Defenders. So there you go.
Man, you're a rock star, man. It's an honor to have you, man. Thank you so much, Max. Mark, Infinity Bros, what's going on, man? Let people know where they can find you. What's new with the Infinity Bros?
We just had an episode drop today with we have the Asian Avenger was a guest on our show with Jarrett, so they chatted about Phase 4, future of that. You can just find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the social media, TikToks. We do everything. There's 6 of us. We're not just one person, so it makes it a little bit easier, branching out. But just come check us out. Some content. Most times it's wholesome. Sometimes it gets spicy, but it is what it is.
Hey, the little spice never killed anybody. But thanks for being on again, Mark. It was a fun time. Brandon King, what's up, man? What you got going on? Where can people find you?
Oh God, you saved me for last, so I cannot possibly screw this up. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at TheMovieKing45. That's Twitter and Instagram at TheMovieKing45. Go follow my podcast at Plot Devices. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, RSS feed. We drop new episodes every other week. We talk about the latest entertainment news. We review film and television. We're actually going to be celebrating our 1-year anniversary this following show. So we're going to be catching up on a bunch of movies that we missed this past year. You can also follow my written work over at ASU Odyssey. Just go to Odyssey Online, search my name. I have articles coming out. My mid-year 2022 list is in the works. I also have a review for Breaking, starring John Boyega, coming out in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. And as far as Plot Devices goes, we're on Plot Devices Pod on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and outside of music as well. Outside of movies, I should say. I am in a band called Cable Box. We just dropped our debut single, Wish. It's out on all audio platforms right now. Again, that's Wish by Cable Box. Go follow us on there. All the information is over there. And we really appreciate the support. And thank you guys so much for having me. This was a ton of fun.
Awesome, man. I'm glad you had a good time. And look at all these rock stars in this panel, man. Please, we are not worthy, guys. The Suit Up Geeks, we are not worthy. We were really honored to have everybody from this panel. Everybody, please follow all of them. We'll put links down below in the comments.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
You are my friend. You are my friend.
But as you guys have illustrated, me and Ryan, our 2 other Suit Up Geeks, Dives and Amanda, we have so much to do. She-Hulk's coming, House of Dragons coming, Rings of Power is coming. We are just fed all this goodness in the realm of fantasy and superhero stuff. So please follow us at the Suit Up Geeks on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Please like and subscribe down below. Stay tuned for the Twitter polls of this very draft. They're going to go live in the next 24 hours or so. So I want to wish everybody in this panel the best of luck. Thank you again for being here. Thank you to everybody watching. For everybody in this show, we'll catch you guys next time.